And we're back.
Oh, are we? Shit.
Yes, I know.
Hello.
Ah! Oh no, I have a commercial. Fuck!
Oh, but hello,
Screaming
everybody.
and crying.
Yeah, no, I am so ready. Most just because I had so little to like go through for like playlists at work. I started listening to old D&D games, and so I have just been like strapped, ready to play all week. Just like doing the full getting wide pose, Amanda.
Bro, if you want a really good series to listen to Legends of Evantris. They're
I've
like
seen,
Feywild Carnival is so funny.
I've seen one clips of Chuckles the Clown. I have
Good.
not seen the show. It's the only thing I've seen about them.
Oh my god, they are so funny. Just I watched one episode and one of their fucking go-to memes is Greco, my fucking legs. And I just say it at random. And by myself walking through the kitchen. My fucking legs. Yeah, no, fucking they are so funny. 10 out of 10. I couldn't recommend them more.
Fair enough, but I've just been going through both series of Pack Tactics. I'm like, holy crap, I forgot most of this even happened. It's just been a fun, fresh little reminder of all the like crazy things we did. And now I'm still sitting here in the Warlock chair with a homebrew pack boon ready to do more stuff like that with a new band of fun people.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Once Upon a Witchlight. That's what I'm looking for.
Once Upon a Witchlight Dreary.
Yeah, pretty much. Here you go. I put it here in the call text chat.
Ah, great. Also, I did not realize until like going through multiple series of like my D&D stuff. This might have been the most like un-ADHD openings of any of our miniseries ever. Like,
what does that mean?
There is no Muppet tits. That's for once.
Yeah. Like, there was one point where Thero was literally just going, Vaughn, has anyone ever done a D&D show with puppets? I think I'm onto something. Then me and Citric post 2 of them. He's like, okay, I need proof of this. Shows the first picture. Why does the Muppet have tits at full volume from Thero? And we go on a tangent about that for about 15 minutes.
Yeah. That sounds correct.
Man, that was the perfect time to fucking test the stream volume. I unmuted Vaughn's stream just in time to hear him yell, "Why does the Muppets have tits?"
The prophecy is fulfilling itself.
You cannot escape the Muppets. You cannot escape the tits.
I actually, if I hadn't already watched some play through the entirety, I would love to do a stream of My Friendly Neighborhood, which is literally Resident Evil, but with Muppets.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Citric. What is that?
The Muppet.
Yep, the Muppet in question.
The tits in question.
Oh, I understand now.
It was a valid question at the time. It's a valid question now.
Yep.
And you're welcome for the knowledge.
And yet, not the most cursed image with tits I've ever seen.
No, yeah, that is a correct statement as well, Manda. Yep.
I mean, Manda, you are a furry, so you've probably been to Fur Affinity at least once, so very true.
Oh, that's a bold statement. I am not a furry, actually.
Sorry. At this point, it's like I can throw a rock at my friends group, and that person will turn around and go ooh woo in a fursuit. Okay.
Fair. Listen, I say ooh woo just because it makes other people cringe.
Oh.
I need you to know that I was teaching a class in which we were talking about the evolution of like emotes, emojis, emoticons, etc. And I ooh-wooed in front of the class, and they were just young enough to not understand what ooh-woo was. And I felt myself age on the spot.
No.
I know that feeling. Oh. But yeah, I guess
the first like story I think of like just furries out there in the wild. It's the one time I was in an IKEA in the middle of summer, and I look to my right and there is a bright pink furry looking at furniture. And it's like, huh, Fair enough.
See,
Man,
catching furries in the wild is so fucking, again, wild. Like I caught one in a fucking Walmart at 8:00 in the morning, and I was like, really? Like, we're talking Maid Cafe cat ears and a large pink bow on the top of this man's head. He probably was in his late 40s, early 50s. And I'm like,
Well,
yeah, bro. You know what? You do you.
At that point,
I'm proud of you.
At that point, the only question I would ask is your day beginning or ending? I need to know.
yeah, for me, it was like a full fursuit in the middle of summer again, like inside of an IKEA. Like there is air conditioning, but still, like you got here in the middle of summer wearing that.
No, let's not.
I will say insider information because cosplayers do actually also do this. They do have fans hidden inside fursuits more often than not. And when cosplayers decided we were going to subject ourselves to giant foam suits of armor, we all collectively realized how obnoxiously hot that is to wear, regardless of whether or not it is summer or winter, and went, hey, fursuiting homies, what do? And they were like, oh, you sweet summer children, here's what you need to stay alive.
Yeah, that's pretty much a standard out here in Japan with the workers right now on the road. I've seen most of them have jackets that have a little rotary fans towards the hips.
Ooh.
Yeah, I understand. Like the heat, and especially with the humidity there, it's like it reaches dangerous levels. Like people fainting in subways and stuff like that.
Bro, it gets boiling in here on the third floor with my windows, like my blinder, not just my blinders, my blackout curtains closed, and it still cooks a bit.
Yeah.
But this is the price you pay for cheap Gunpla.
Hey, now I haven't bought any since the end of Witch of Mercury, which go check that out. It's good.
Space lesbians.
Yeah.
No, space friends to married couple.
Oh, fuck off.
Listen, that was
up to interpretation, my ass.
That was like my favorite thing was watching Gundam Twitter react to that. Like, seriously.
This Sailor Moon's over here being like, your first time?
Cousins.
Yeah. Cousins.
Cousins, quotey fingers.
Yes, I have a lot of deep affection for my cousin.
Man, even as a little girl when it was airing for the first time in America, and they were like, "Yes, this is my cousin." Not me looking at my friend going, "She's acting a little close for cousin. Why aren't they just lesbians?"
Okay, now question, because again, like I have a different experience of anime because we got here like none of that censoring in localization. How did you guys how did localization up there solve? I don't remember which season is, but down the line you have a group of like a boy band that turns into Sailor Scouts. And, like they do the full like
see, we never actually got that on television. Because there was no way for 4 kids to really be like, oh yeah, these are totally just dudes or girls because gay is bad here. Sad face.
Yeah, and we can't have rice balls either. We can only have American food like donuts.
Yeah,
jelly donuts.
So Sailor Stars didn't officially come out when it was airing. We got it like years and years later.
Like 10 years after.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like my friend had to buy a what are they called? They're like a fake knockoff of the DVDs.
Bootleg.
Yeah, bootleg, thank you. Like that was the only way we were able to watch it like 20 years later. It's a good series though. Because, just I think what always gets me is just how they were like, I don't give a fuck This move is called gentle uterus. Do something about it. It's like, first time we heard that, we were like, excuse me?
That's the first time I've heard of it, because I only got random episodes of Sailor Moon growing up.
Yeah, it's Sailor Starlight's. One of the Starlight's attacks. I think it's Sailor Star Healer, though. It's either the white-haired one or the brunette. But that's their move, is a gentle uterus is the Japanese attack.
Yeah, Sailor Star Maker. The Star Gentle Uterus is an energy attack that was used by Sailor Star Maker in all versions of the Sailor Moon series in which she appeared.
Is
Amazing.
this the same season in which you have all the one season that wasn't allowed to air in America because all the villains were trans women?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's that. Everything is now making sense.
Okay, yeah, it's this one. Thank you, Zeko.
Well, I have no good segue for this. Let's keep going around the table.
Welcome to Districtly Professional, everyone.
Yeah.
Where the conversations are anything but.
Imagine being professional. Definitely not me.
So I have to be professional 5 days out of the week. This is not one of them.
I refuse to be professional. I wish to be as unhinged as possible.
All right.
All right,
Well,
who's
then.
got the
Yeah, I was about to say, Manda, go.
Me? Oh, okay. I guess I'll see you guys later.
No, well then.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. Well, I'm waiting. No, I'm just kidding. But you probably wanted me to fucking introduce myself. My bad. Hi, I'm Mandaloo. I play Pile. Zacho, go.
Yes, hello, I'm Zacho Duo. You can find me at Twitch and Twitter at Zacho Duo, as well as Blue Sky. Plan is tomorrow, hopefully, maybe Like a Dragon Ishin, or maybe something else. We'll probably get some Armor Core, maybe. I don't know. We're still figuring that out. I have a 4-day weekend, so we'll probably do something on Monday. Yeah, Monday, because Sunday is all in, or all out rather. Let's see here. Anything else in particular? I'm a variety streamer in general, and go watch the live action One Piece. It's good. Potato goes to Citric.
Is there anything left of the potato right now? Again, like last time, I just called it solid vodka. Anyway, like it's the same potato every time. Like, we've not changed it. Like it's the same one. It's disgusting by now. Like it is a health hazard. Anyway, hi, Cedric. I do stuff sometimes, and you can see those sometimes. Pretty much all over the place at Cedric King. Like do the drinking game, not with the solid vodka potato, but the of like looking at different like social medias and see if I am there. Top of my head, you will find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Newgrounds, Tumblr. Yeah, Tumblr's too. Yeah, sure. Let's leave it at those. And I am here playing Victor on Fridays, and you will see me probably next week on Thursday here as well, playing Midas on Pack Tactics. And I think that's all for me. So I'm throwing the questionable potato back to our lovely DM. Ceres, take it away.
Okay. Potato now in hand. Hi. I am on the internet at either Twitter and Tumblr at TXDXL or on Instagram at TixDixel with eyes between the consonants. I do have a bit of an announcement because I have the holiday coming up, which means I can finally revise my commission sheets and update them because I'm realizing how much fun I'm having doing these headshots and other types of digital art, now that I'm actually getting a hang of it, I want to start offering digital commissions. So that will probably be up and running, if not within the next week, within the next 2 weeks.
All right, well, make sure to get me that so I can put that in the YouTube thumbnails for not thumbnails, in the YouTube info for the videos.
Yeah.
Because we stand our artists here.
And then, of course, you can find me here on Fridays, occasionally doing stuff and things, and DMing. And that's how I'm going to segue over to Vaughn.
Why, thank you. And you've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at BurnoutVaughn, where I try to keep stuff in the loop. I'm very bad about actually properly tweeting, but I am pretty well on my game for uploading to YouTube, so that way if you miss any episodes, you can always catch whatever I do in a handy-dandy playlist that I keep up to date. So far, this coming up this week, we still have another session of Saved by the Spell, where everyone in the party except for the rogue is drunk. How can this go wrong in a nearly all-caster party? I say having innately cast darkness centered on everyone as 2 people were throwing up. But aside from that, and then coming up Monday, we get back into more of the Claire route with Wizard Sib's plays, where I think we finally solved the problem of Claire being delicious. Now we just have to deal with the fact that William and Mr. X both want to have words. They're not gentle words. They are not. Oh. And then aside from that, yeah, hopefully some more pack tactics where we are hopefully going to find out the secret to Gawain's power after viciously fighting to make a centaur laugh. Oh, that was an interesting session. That was fun. But aside from that, I think it's time for us to play the theme song by our very good friend, one X Wiley Willie. So I will quickly get that a-going.
I'll dumbass my way to victory.
That is the perfect thing to come back on. Well then, without further ado, Saris, if you would, take us away.
No. Instead, I'm going to ask one of you who would like to do the recap from last session.
Well then, I will do
Well, don't everyone do that.
Everyone is just being very polite.
Well, I have the keen mind feat, which lets me recall everything within the last 30 days. So let's stress test that. Last week, the 4 of us got called in to investigate a break-in at a Orsov vault, specifically the Bedford family vault belonging to our good old young child Ollie, where we saw signs of lots of explosions, a construct being ripped apart, a corpse left behind reduced to nothing but ash and bone, and as well as the items that were stolen, I have noted an orb of shielding, 3 soul coins, and an eye of arcane. Looking at the signs, it looks like we may be dealing with possibly Golgari due to the incessant traces of spores reacting to my cigar. So now we're on our way into the sewers to explore and find them.
Hey, Zaka,
Yeah.
give yourself a die of inspiration. And for those of you who are not familiar with inspiration, I run it the same way, I believe, as most of the other folks that do on this channel, where a inspiration die is a re-roll.
Ooh.
So, when we last off directly, you all were taken out the back exit instead of being led to any of the vault sewer entrances, and were essentially left to reemerge in the city streets with new information, some theories amongst yourselves, and for some of you, a very, very pointed determination to find the nearest sewers and check out what's under there, like Zako said. So, I actually am going to open this all up to you, as you have been, I would say, inside for a while now. Investigations take time, conversations take time, exploration takes time. I'm going to say it is getting into starting to get more into the midday slash earlier parts of the afternoon, and thus the city streets are kind of, it's odd because everyone going and doing their lunch business makes the streets not necessarily empty, but less crowded than before. And with that, I am going to do some music and open it up to you all. What would you like to do and or say?
Well, I think at this point, like, Oleander would turn to Finn and be like, well, you seem to have the lay of the land of how to get to things. Where should we go first?
As that, Finn is currently staring at the ground, following a trail of ants. Wait, what? What was the question?
Where should we head first, Mr. Finnegan? Was it?
Faulkner, that's fine. Finn takes the hand that's holding his lit cigar and points it north, because he knows where north is, and then does a complete 360 turn. I have no idea where the sewers are, so... And then he's gonna gesture to, Victor. Where would the best way to get in there be?
I can look at where the closest entrance is and guide you there.
Perfect.
Now, you should be aware that down there things are not easy. We might encounter problems.
Oh, I'm prepared for it. As Finn does a quick tough guy tough of his coat and accidentally just drops both his daggers from the pockets. Oh, shoot.
Oh, he dropped him. Kyle will reach down and pick one up for him.
Embarrassing. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Victor just looks at them. Very well. Follow me. And he will walk towards the nearest entrance to the sewers.
I would love for you to roll me a survival check with advantage.
Very well. Survival. That is a 16.
Yeah. Just as you would expect. I mean, this is a city, a very large city, bustling with buildings and people. It's really not hard to find an entrance to the sewers, given how I'm not sure how familiar people are with how sewer systems work. The one being in Ravnica, being very similar in nature to our own, given the advancement in technology that the city itself has had. In which there are often major pipelines that go through different areas of the city, and smaller ones that sort of connect to those larger pipes. There are also a variety of different, shall we say, manholes where people are able to actually directly go down into the ground following the ladders with minimal to no difficulty and not having to, shall we say, swim. With a 16, I will say that you are able to identify of your one of those little holes in the ground that it's difficult to get out of the ground, but with your strength would likely be no problem, and or with the help of Pile would be no problem. And then of course you see a nearby like water grate where rainfall and moisture just naturally fall into.
Well, for accessibility's sake and for everyone, well, Victor will just look and say, "We have two choices. I can open one of the manhole covers to let us in. That would be dry if you have an issue with that. The other option is waddle to water."
Well, I think we're limited to whichever one can accommodate, and he just walks over to Pile and just gestures at her lower body.
Pyle will kind of look down at herself and then look back up at Victor and just kind of go, ha ha ha. With sort of a sheepish grin. I mean, I could try going down the manhole, but I can't promise it's going to be real pretty going down.
Victor looks at Finn.
Well, if that's the case, the watery way, I assume it's like a large pipeline we just walk into.
That would be the case, yes.
Then that is what we shall do to accommodate our friend.
I guess she'll look at Finn and Ollie and Oleander. If y'all don't want to get wet, I can just carry you through the water.
Finn just gestures to his dirty coat and just says, "I got no problem with mud."
I think I have bigger things to worry about, so I think I'm good too.
Well, if you say so. Humans got soft little feet, and when they get wet and mixed with leather boots, it's not good for your toes. So if you change your mind, she'll kind of reach behind it. She'll just kind of gently pat the I can't remember what it is, what the horse's shoulder is called, but it's just slightly down below her hip. Just ask and I'll give you a ride.
Appreciated.
All right, so it sounds like we're heading down the
So-
grate.
You're heading to the grate.
Mhm.
There's one small problem. The grate is firmly placed in the ground. Now, you could clearly use brute strength if you wanted to, or if you wanted to get creative with it, you could, but you will have to move the grate before you jump in.
If I may approach with an idea. Finn does have a crowbar.
Ah, yes, the key to the city.
Someone's key, certainly.
I mean,
so when you say that the grate is in the ground, do you mean it's like the part of the smoothed over rock, or is it like a separate piece?
It is a separate piece, but it is placed, like the metal lip is placed in the sort of slot, so it's not designed to be easy to like just slip your fingers under it necessarily. However, a crowbar would absolutely work, or for those who have the sheer strength and willpower, you could easily, reach over top, grab the bars, and pull up if that is something that suits your fancy. It doesn't seem to be, upon looking at it, the four of you will know, it doesn't necessarily seem to be bolted into the ground, but it is positioned well enough that the average person likely is not going to be able to move it without difficulty.
Well, I'll do you one better. I'll combine both those ideas. Finn will take out the crowbar from one of his pockets and will hand it over to Victor. You look like you could really use this to clear that.
You catch Victor like just about to put his hands in there, without the crowbar. Very well. He takes the crowbar and like jams it in there and makes like
Well,
the
yeah,
You-
we'll
use
go
a
ahead
letter
and
motion.
strength with advantage.
sheer strength.
I mean, I will give you athletics if you would like, but otherwise, yeah, just strength.
I would love athletics. You're about to see why.
Holy!
Oh,
That's an
plus
18.
11. Oh gosh.
Advantage? What's that?
Doing the math, that means that so that means
Yep.
that you rolled a 7 plus 11.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Victor is
I understand.
strong.
I understand. Yep. Yeah, you have, with the help of the crowbar, you have no difficulty getting it up, and quite frankly, once it's out of the stone, you are very easily able to like use your own hands, or in this case, your mandibles, and kind of just push it over, and it makes a loud clanking noise as it hits the stone.
Actually, while Victor's
well-
doing this, Pila's going to reach down and gently tap Finnegan on the shoulder. Hey, can I see your navs again, for a moment?
Sure. Finnegan will reach into his coat, just scantily looking through the pockets till he locates both daggers again.
Good, rad. And she'll put the flat of her finger on like the face of them, and she's gonna cast Blessing of the Forge on for him,
Ooh,
just in case.
yeah.
All right. Then you can touch suit of armor.
Basically, you get a +1 to your attack, and it will stay there until I have a long rest and do it again.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And you'll just kind of, I guess, just to give it a little more flair, you'll see like this sort of like, it's kind of a bluish white rune that she traces out on the flat of the blade, and then it just sinks into it and disappears. There you go.
Oh,
That'll keep your nose right sharp, just in case we come across something unsavory.
huh. Thank you very kindly. I'm definitely gonna need this because as he points to the Victor just smoothly getting rid of the grate, I don't think he's gonna have a problem hitting anything, and he's just gonna holster the knives.
She'll bob her head. Happy to help. If you lose one, let me know. I can make you a new one right quick.
Thank you.
Well, actually, that goes for everyone. If you lose your weapon and need it fixed, let me know. I can fix it right here.
I'm not much one for weapons. The
Victor
closest I
will.
have is this, and you'll see Ollie reach into his like jacket, pull out what looks like the head of a cane, then flick it. It does turn into a cane.
Well, I mean, a cane can be a weapon. Anything can be a weapon if you swing it hard enough.
Good to know.
So, the grate is open. You all hear the sounds of distant water rushing, dripping. You hear the echoes of the best way I would describe it is it's not quite like a howling wind, but you do hear the, shall we say, seashore effect that often happens when there is just empty air that is bouncing around. It makes a little bit of sound. And the entryway just descends into darkness. I also have to admit, it doesn't necessarily smell the best either. Victor, this is a very comfortable smell for you, but for the rest of y'all, it's faint at the moment, but it's not great.
Finnegan will reach to Victor asking for his crowbar back.
Victor will do so, and once everyone makes it through the entrance, he will grab the grate and place it back in place and put it back in place.
Wow, you've already done more for this area than the Is It probably has in the last 5 years.
They said, don't usually come back here. They leave us to our devices.
True, just something to think about. Oh! I think the adrenaline's getting off. I really just threatened a ministrant today. I'm gonna need to sit down. Everything from last session might be hitting Ollie at once, and he realized he might have just cashed a check he really shouldn't have.
Finn is going to walk over and just like pat him on the shoulder. Hey, you stood up for yourself, you recognized wrong, and you wanted to see it right. Nothing wrong with that.
When you're a Bedford, typically that's the first thing that happens right before you die. Luckily, I have a buffer because I don't have an heir.
Finn looks at Ollie real quick to determine his age based on physical appearance. I would certainly hope not. And he will gesture for him to like get up. Now, come on, we can't sit here all day. We got the job to do.
Oh, all right, fine. Yeah, for once, this cane will actually be useful for something. As Ollie just is kind of like wobbly following everyone.
But again, resists the temptation to kick the cane from out from under him.
Pyle will saunter behind Ollie, and then seeing him wobble, she'll walk up to his side. Your legs look a little noodly there. Look a little noodly. Are you sure you wouldn't like me to, give you a spot to sit?
No, I'm fine. I'll get that. Just in okay. This day has gone completely into the left field.
Well, don't you worry none. Don't you worry none, Colt. I won't let nobody kill you. And she'll reach down and give him a firm pat on the shoulder, and she looks very firmly about that.
Well, you say firm.
There's really no explanation as to why, but she just, considering that she's usually very, very jolly, very smiley, she seems very like, I would refuse to let that happen kind of look on her face.
Well, Ollie wouldn't notice that because since was firm to you is probably much harder for him. He immediately just goes, ah! And nearly topples over.
Ah!
While this is going on, Victor will start moving to the head of the line as he is the guide. But one thing, Victor is not thinking about this. But do any of you have dark vision?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I never roll it.
I am human.
I almost never roll any character with dark vision. I think I've only done that once in the last year or so. I've been doing D&D on this channel.
But
Okay.
I may have a solution. Hang on. Okay, I got one.
Yeah, because Victor is just starting to walk straight forward, and eventually we will get far away enough from the grate that there will be no light inside, and he's not that is not going to cross his mind. He's just gonna keep walking.
I have a hooded lantern.
Wait, I have a very important question. Have y'all jumped in yet?
I believe
yes.
that was what we described, yes.
Okay. Y'all said walked. It is a straight downward hole that
Lovely.
descends into darkness.
Oh, okay. I do have dark vision, apparently.
That's why I'm asking for clarity.
Oh.
I'm guessing we have to make checks.
Aha! I'm so glad we're on the same page. I will still let this whole thing. I will still let this whole scene unravel before you jump in. But first, I'm assuming Victor's going in first. Victor, yes. Because you are familiar with this sort of setup, I'm going to give you advantage on this. The rest of y'all are going to roll straight. I need dexterity saving throws.
Oh,
from this
boy.
lovely crew.
Okay.
Ogly doggly.
Oh, 18, I'll take it.
Oh,
That's an 20 for
damn.
Victor.
14.
23.
Fucking Citrix came up and I was like, yes! Wait.
So
Damn it.
I want to ask, for my sake and for the viewers' sake, Victor goes first, and I will describe what I imagine this probably looks like in a second, but I need to know our, shall we say, jumping order.
Victor first.
Yeah, Victor first, and how about how it goes in the order of all of that?
Pile would probably bring up the rear.
Okay. So I'd say, I guess, Oleander first, then Finn, then Pile.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Victor, you know what this looks like. You know how this works. You just jump in straight. You have yourself at the correct angle to hit the water, because that's what happens is you end up hitting the water. And you begin to slide like a water slide with zero issue, managing to shield your face with your mandibles and your wings from the, shall we say, fluid that is coming in. And for next, you said it was Oleander, or was it Finn? I'm so sorry.
Oleander
It was
next.
Victor. Yeah, it was Victor, Ollie, Finn, then Pile.
Just double checking. Thank you. Ollie, you, in your wobbly legs, managed to almost sit into it, and it actually plays out in your favor as you're like, oh wait, I'm sliding, and you find that you are continuing to descend along the curves, managing to hold yourself up decently.
I just imagine, like, the second he realizes he's sliding, he's just like, no.
And of course that echoes, because this is a giant closed pipe made of metal. So from above and below, you hear that sort of no echoing.
One person goes to use the bathroom at work, they just hear that turn around.
Probably, honestly.
Toilet's haunted.
Finnegan, you, recognizing from the sounds below what is happening, mentally prepare yourself, fully realizing you are definitely, you are starting to realize why they decided to pay as much as they are offering to pay for this job, and yet you're still not sure if you're being paid enough as you jump in and keep going. Pile.
Uh-huh.
You ever see a horse go down a water slide?
No, but I imagine it's not graceful.
You succeed, so you're not flailing and stumbling about. But yeah, no, the 14 feels very accurate, as you are in fact a horse going down a water slide.
Poor Pile. She's probably having to, like, lean all the way forward so she doesn't smack her face.
Yep. And one after another, the four of you find yourselves deposited, not exactly the most gracefully, but you did succeed on your dex saves. Victor, you superhero this shit. You are in it to win it. You graceful landing into the I would say about a good knee-high depth of water as you hit the bottom.
You know, in the Tarzan movie when he's just sliding through vines, like I wanted to picture Victor just like standing while going down and like moving.
Yeah.
Fucking Victor and Finn out here just like surfing on their shoes, like fuck, what are they called? Heelys. There we go. Just heelying along.
And you both, Ollie and Finnegan, one after the other, managed to. Ollie, it's a little. You still like a smidgen as you're getting your bearings because you weren't prepared for this in the slightest. But like, you stick the landing, you're fine. It's a little wet, a little disheveled, but you're fine. Finnegan, very like, differently than Victor because you're not quite there, but like you had the distinct feeling when you hit that drop that you were going to go straight into like a pool of water, and so you were prepared to stick the landing. Pile. You succeeded. You did succeed the save. But the only thing that I can describe for the 3 people within shall we say the splash zone is the smacking, if you will, the like belly flops almost smacking of horse underbelly hitting the water.
Smack! Ow!
But you managed to stand up and you're like, oh,
She just kind
you're
of rises.
here.
Let's... Golly, let's not do that again. She says as everybody hears her armor shudder and clank as she just literally shakes out her whole body.
Ollie just standing there doing the thing you do when your upper body is wet against your will and just holding out his arms like, yes, this day is definitely on brand. Definitely on brand.
Finnegan just purposely rattles and shakes himself as rapidly as a dog to spread as much water everywhere, particularly in Ollie's direction. I don't know, I thought it was fun.
He is just giving you the most tight-lipped, dead-eyed like expression.
Isle misinterprets Ollie's arms being out, and she just kind of puts her hands under his armpits and just lifts him up slightly. Yeah, no, she fucking wet cat uppies him. Here you go, kid.
Well, now I'm here.
How
At
dark
least-
is... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, how dark is it?
Oh, it's dark. And this is the perfect time for your question about being able to see and having a solution for light would come into effect.
I have a hooded lantern.
You do. And it was protected from the grossness of the water, so it's still dry.
And a tinderbox. So with that, Finn will fumble his hands on the idea, so we don't have to rely on the water. Finn will walk over to Pyle and just, could you stand still just for one moment? I need a table.
Okay. She said, that's fine. She says, still holding Ollie around his fucking chest like a cat.
And Finn will just use I don't know the word to describe it, the horse top of Pyle's back to set up the lantern and get it lit.
Yeah, the flank.
Yeah, the flank to set up the lantern.
No, it's clearly a horse table. It's a horse, but it's a table.
A hable.
Exactly. Sure enough, you light the hooded lantern, and here is the thing about suddenly being able to see, is the first thing that you all collectively notice is that, is that you are all in another, shall we say, this one much larger space, this time not a pipe itself. It is surrounded in stone, thank goodness. But it is, water forward and backward, only 2 directions. And the darkness, as ever eerie as it is full of the sounds that you are hearing. Sounds of groaning. Some metallic groaning, some perhaps identifiable in the future. You hear the sounds of bubbling, of water moving, of course. You do, in fact, hear a few rivets here and there.
That happened right on cue. You can't plan that.
There's a big croak right after you said the rivets.
And the sound, of course, of the flies. We can't forget the flies. Of course there would be mosquitoes in a giant sewer. No. As you continue to venture forward, is there anything... I want to give you an opportunity to talk amongst yourselves. Otherwise, I can jump into what happens next.
At least Victor will just check if everyone is okay, and when he sees everyone is ready to start walking, he will like set the pace. And he moves slowly, but due to his size, like each stride is a pretty long distance, so it's a good pace for everyone, I think.
Yeah, Pyle will just follow along behind Victor, but she hasn't let go of Ollie because he hasn't said anything yet. So she's just cat carrying this kid up again. His kid at like his head is like just below her chin, and she's just carrying this kid. Like he seems to be having some issues.
At this point,
I see this child is too proud to ask for help. That's okay.
At this point, Ollie's just like, with the day I'm having, not having to walk, I'll take it. But that's in his head. He's not going to say anything. Though I do have one quick question. You said that we were in the vault for a long time. Would that constitute a short rest for the poor warlock?
I'm gonna unfortunately say no because you were actively investigating during that time.
Totally fair. I just need to know because not knowing what was going to happen, I cast a spell last session as a warlock.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Cool.
I have a helpful question.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how long we walk and how long Pyle carries Ollie, would that be considered a short rest?
If you end up walking that long, yes.
Okay, just
We shall see.
You just swaddle him so that he can get his spell slot back.
Oh, she just gets tired of carrying him arms out and just goes, fuck it, and just kind of pulls him onto her hip like you would like a 5-year-old.
Either that, or I just imagined you, like, instead of putting me on your back like a normal centaur, you fashioned me a papoose.
Listen, I have seen, somebody did, like, concept centaur art for, like, how they carry their young, and there was, like, a fucking centaur papoose. It was very cute. But no, she just fucking carries him like he's a human child, so he's a human, so he has legs, he'll be fine. And she just fucking holds him just against her side. There we go, that's much more comfortable.
I'm kind of imagining, you know those moms that'll use like scarves to swaddle their kids to just be hands-free, like they're fully wrapped and they're up against mom's body, but the mom has full mobility of feet and legs and hands and arms. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm imagining.
Actually, not me checking my fucking inventory right now. Oh, good, I do have a fucking bedroll. Here we go. She just fucking real quick, Ollie doesn't even realize she's done it, and he has like a fucking blanket under his butt, and he tied her around her.
So good.
Before he realizes it, she's suddenly hands-free, and he's just floating. Hey, wait a minute.
All of a sudden, I'm just gonna say this, ever since, like, getting out of the water, Ollie's had the exact expression of Phil Pickles from that one meme. You know the meme.
I've lost control of my life.
Finn will just hold up the rear with the lantern and just keeping a general eye out for anything, because I'm assuming he's got the best eyes here.
I mean, that passive perception of 21 is pretty nice. But the question I have that is a bit difficult in this particular situation, because you are walking in water, is whether or not the lot of you wish to move forward stealthily.
Well, that's a non-issue
Or
for
if
me.
you are just... I was going to say, unless y'all want to just walk in this place with full business mode, which is completely viable, I figured I would ask.
Finnegan will at least be a bit stealthy despite having the lantern, purely so that I can show that I've committed the cardinal sin of being a rogue.
I will have to say that this is with disadvantage.
Fair enough. I don't think I can get worse than
will-
that, but
I don't
Victor
I
will
don't think
also-
you know I don't think you need to roll a second time. I think we're good.
Yeah. Now, Victor will also attempt to stealth just on pure instinct. He knows that the sewers are not like completely safe.
Oh,
So-
they are you absolutely correct. They are not complete for it.
yeah, that's a
Ooh, a
5.
disadvantage. Yeah, I have armor too, so that's a 9.
Hell, I'll try.
Splishing and splashing.
12. We're doing our best.
Splishing and splashing.
Well, you've got heavy armor, so it'd be disadvantage at 9.
Even better. It's my favorite.
Still splishing and splashing. Y'all are trying to be relatively sneaky. Oleander, it is a bit. You don't know whether or not to be concerned or amused that they are all trying to move forward very stealthily, and yet it's just splish, 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 as they're moving and wading through knee-high water.
I mean, he has no way of helping them, so he's just gonna be there like, you know, if somebody tries to attack us, I can at least heal them.
This is very true. But 4 of you move into an area in which the walls around you, which you were, begin to expand out, and you find yourself not quite at the deepest part. It's interesting as your light begins to expand out farther. You are able to, or it's still not bright, but you're able to see more of the sewers, and you realize that it is multi-level, and you all have stopped because I'm not gonna force this upon you. That would be a travesty. But you all managed to stop right at the edge of I'd say like a foot or 2 feet away from the edge of a waterfall, in which the water that has been moving along with you goes straight downward into a giant pool that you see below you. You do notice, however, to your left and to your right, that there are, shall we say, platforms that are going up onto other levels, and stairways, like ladders, that allow you to move upward. You see above you that there are pipes. There are multiple pipes. They're big, they're small, going in multiple different directions. And you do see that there are pathways, like bridges, between different platforms throughout the sewers. You see weird levers and wheels. And of course, this is only within the range of what your hooded lantern allows for you to see. And of course, Victor, having dark vision, I am assuming you're having dark vision. Same with you, Pyle.
Yep.
You do see more, and it is more of what I'm describing. What you can imagine of an actual sewerscape with levers and with wheels and graded platforms that you're able to move across, again, via bridges, some even higher. This thing, in its total, appears to have four total layers. In this moment, before you do anything else, Victor, I would like you to make a survival check with advantage.
Okay. That is a 22.
Yeah, there we go.
Mhm.
You, in this moment, have gotten you're able to recognize the area around you. You're able to gather your surroundings, and you would recognize that the sewers that connect, like the sewer pipes and the connection areas that connect to the Great House of Trade, are to your right, or directionally eastward.
Since Victor is at the head of the line, once he gets to the edge, he will raise a hand and look backward, look back to the group and say, "We have come to an end here. What we have closed is a few options." And he looks at Pyle.
Pyle is kind of. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You were following the coins, weren't you?
Yeah. And she'll reach into her breastplate where she had been fucking stashed the coins, and she'll pull out the one that we're looking for the is it right now, right? Somebody has to remind me.
For now, I guess we were under the assumption of all three should be together, but yeah, there is a chance that they might have scattered afterwards. So yeah.
Oh, I guess.
That's what we will do.
I guess in that case, she'll pull the coins out, and she'll hold them to see which one sort of resonates with the area.
Well,
What do you mean by resonates with the area? Sorry, just for my clarification.
Oh, just like last time when we cast locate object.
Yeah,
you said that there was a vibe that for
your
specific coin.
You're still getting, you're still getting the same vibe, and you are getting the sense that none of them are here. They're not in the sewer system. But that is at the very least, shall we say, a comfort?
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, what it does mean is that for better or for worse, they probably weren't dropped somewhere.
Yeah. Everyone will see Pyle kind of hold these coins. She'll gently clasp both hands over these coins and close her eyes. And as she sort of she'll gently lift her head as, like she's tracking something that nobody can see. And she'll go, well, good news is, these coins ain't in the sewer system. So they haven't been dropped nowhere. That's a comfort. But if there's something down here, it might be one of the other pieces, but the coins ain't here. She says, returning them to their hiding place.
Victor looks at everyone.
Well, we might as well try to find the path that would lead away from the House of Trade. If anything, it might give us a clue of where they got out. Depending on what district, it might tell us something.
That would be to our right. Right. Follow this path, and he will point towards the direction.
It would be up the ladder. There's like a ladder directly to your right that goes up a platform to an actual physical space. Like I said, going directly in front of you will just lead down.
Yeah, we're basically at Big
right.
Cistern.
If right's where we need to go, then that's where we'll head.
Pyle sees this ladder and she actively sweats.
Yeah, Victor also looks at Pyle. Do you need a hand?
Possibly too. My people ain't known to climb real good.
Well, hearing that,
Actually-
Ollie will actually get out of the papoose, grab onto a rung of the ladder, and start climbing up. All right, I can get her hands from up here. I'm probably going to need some help, though.
Finn climbs up as well. Yep, I ain't too strong neither, so I think the both of us could equal average strength.
We're giving...
Hold
And
on a
then-
second.
And then Victor, you can get the rear.
Victor nods and looks at Pyle.
She'll look at Victor and she'll reach out and gently touch him on the chest, and she's gonna cast fucking guidance on him.
Yeah.
Oh, boop!
Victor will flinch at that. It's like touching.
It's just a very gentle pat.
Yeah.
And you'll see just a very vague like glowing, again, pale blue handprint, and that'll just kind of fade into his skin and disappear. He doesn't feel any different. It's just kind of a, this happened. Don't be nervous. Just something for good luck, you know?
Victor will compose himself and slowly nod. So just a reminder, like Victor is wrapped in a cape. No one has seen the array of appendages that he is yet.
Fair. Well, even if she just touches the cape, it still will just fade into. It would just fade into the fibers. And seeing him react like that, she'll put up both of her hands. I'll promise I'd never do nothing to hurt you. Oh, we's what's the word? We's comrades now. That's the yeah.
Comrades.
I would have
Yeah,
said
Fair
business.
enough.
I would have said business associates, but hey, different strokes.
As far as I am concerned, I will not let you get hurt.
Likewise, and she'll give him she'll go back to that big doofy grin. Like, yeah, we made friends.
And Victor will position himself to lift a pile from the back. It's like,
Yeah, and she'll
yeah.
grab onto the ladder with her hands and at least pull herself up as far as she can
So
towards Ollie and Finn.
here's what I'm gonna say.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna start with an athletics check from Pyle. This will be with advantage because you're getting the help action. But I'm also going to need a strength check. Yes, not athletics. Strength check from Victor. Because you're about to carry a fucking horse.
All
That
right,
is a
come on.
check, not a save, right?
It is a check, not a... Well,
Perfect.
you know what? Rule of coolness. I can see either direction of a check or a save. You pick if you want it to be a check or a save.
No, I would appreciate the save very much, yes. So, Pyle?
Yeah, oh,
Starting
right.
with you.
All right, come on, Pyle. Oh, 15's not bad.
And
once
Victor, will you
Pyle-
collaborate?
Yeah.
With a 27!
Damn, there we go.
You're gonna need it too.
He just fucking yeets Pyle the rest of the way.
Well, I mean, we are also up there to try to help pull you up.
True.
Once your hands get there, and I also gotta imagine like once you start tilting up as a horse, as a centaur, you have to be like at that point like 9 feet long.
I mean this in like the most respectful and non-weird way possible, but the way that I have the mental image is you've got Pyle who is holding on to Ollie and Finn at the top, and then you have like the front end of the horse, which is also on the railings, but then you also have the back end kind of drooped down, and that's what Victor is holding up.
Yep.
And is like just kind of in the way that you would like it's like the way that I imagine this with my cats sometimes is like you have to hoist the butt up in order for them to fully pull themselves up.
Oh, wait, here we go. Hold on, there it is.
Yes, actually.
I got this. I got it. I don't know what people are bitching about. Climate's not that hard.
Maybe on your end.
She doesn't actually say that in character. That's just me being a shit.
But also,
Yeah.
right? And sure enough, the three of you help hoist Pyle up onto the platform, and with the sound of clippy cloppies on the stone, Pyle, I gotta say, solid stone ground is a real big comfort for you right now.
Pyle stands. As soon as Pyle has her footing, and she has like this sort of semi-wide stance, like, oh, solid ground. We like solid ground. God didn't make me a flyer for a reason.
Finn will reach for a high five with Ollie. Man, we didn't have to do anything.
I mean, that's still pretty taxing for me. Honestly, I wish I had some thrills for this.
What, you don't like getting your hands dirty?
Oh no, I get my hands dirty all the time. It's just, I'd rather not try to lift someone who's half a horse ever again. No offense, Miss Pyle.
She's adjusting the bandana on her head. This is actively sweating. Huh? No, sorry. She smiles sheepishly. Appreciate it. Just like to avoid having to do that again if possible. Thank y'all, she says, looking back down towards Victor.
Victor nods and starts making his own climb.
Which is very easy for you. This is nothing. And you are up on the platform. Immediately, here's what you see, and then I will require perception checks. Just hang on just a moment. You immediately notice that there is, like, a solid, I would say, probably 15 feet of width to this platform with, metal, like, stainless steel, almost, great, like, banisters that just surround the edges. And then eventually the platform, once it in the other direction, heads out about 20 feet. You actually watch as it extends into a bridging system, in which you have an option going straight ahead. You have an option that allows you to cross, like, way across to the other end, or heading in the direction of the other end of the of the sewer system. And then from both paths, you kind of see almost a web, if you will, of other bridges that just descend into the darkness. You also see yet another ladder, metal rung ladder that is head up the wall to your right. But it seems to only stop at a some type of wheel, like metal wheel, that can be pulled.
And then you said perception checks.
Yup.
Oh boy.
24.
21.
21. 21.
That's a 14 for me.
This makes sense. Victor, I will start with you, as you are the lowest. In the darkness, you see the different paths that move forward. You see the drips of water from the ceiling. You see, in your dark vision, these silhouettes of different, I can only describe as like algae and mushroom that begin to grow along some of the bridges and along some of the wall structures. But what catches not your eyes, but your nose, very, very particularly, is actually the smell of like sulfur, like soot. And what your ears, all of you catch this, is the sound of footsteps that are still like echoing, but like they sound like this is, obviously being a partially enclosed space. The acoustics are phenomenal in here, but you are able to pick up the direction, which is eastward. I then move to my 21s. Here's what's interesting. Pyle, for the sake of things, to make things interesting, Pyle, you notice, there actually seem to be birds or bird-like creatures in the silhouettes that you are seeing above, literally roosting on some of the pipes that are above you. They're bird-shaped at the very least, because dark vision is mostly silhouettes. And you aren't sure with the variety of sizes if that's a good thing. Oleander,
Yes.
not having dark vision, what you do notice in particular, and Finnegan, you will also notice this, is that there is actually a wet, like a trail of wet, like puddles, on the bridge that heads forward. And it seems to veer off, not at the immediate first left, but at the second one. That is about, I would say, a good solid, right at the edge of your vision. And the only reason you're able to pick up on it is light gleaming against the water. Finnegan, even more so still, there's something particularly odd that strikes you as you kind of look around. Your detective eyes, investigator eyes kind of darting around the place, and you notice the faintest hairline crack in the foundation of one of the wall closest to you that seems to end right a solid like 5 feet away from you, like going forward, and continues to move forward into that darkness. A hairline fracture is enough to cause serious damage, or, as you would probably put 2 and 2 together, serious damage caused the hairline.
Finnegan is immediately going to follow his nose on that and will point to the wall. There's a crack in the foundation here, and he's going to start following along it.
Pyle will look up. We got critters overhead, too. Not sure if they're birds. They're a little too... She'll sort of wiggle her fingers. Mismatched in size.
Yeah, don't focus on them too much. The Gagari and Orzhov have worked together on a few projects, and a lot of the failures that escaped have bred down here.
Victor will look up at the mention of that. Like, now that I know what I'm looking for, do I recognize them at all?
You definitely see what she's talking about. They're bird-like, certainly in nature. The thing that strikes both of you as odd is how large they are. These are not your average-sized birds. These are not even for a larger bird, so to speak, like an eagle, right? Eagles are large. Eagles are huge.
Mm-hmm.
This is spanning, I would say, like some of them. There's a variety of sizes, but they're all really large. The largest one that you both catch your eye on is like larger than a turkey vulture.
So not friendly critters. Noted. She says, seeing the largest one.
Well, that and remember, our current theory is that everyone who has each of the coins is associated with one of the 3 guilds that probably stole the coins. The Simic do love to make things big.
She'll her eyes will quickly dart at Victor and then dart to Ollie. I'll take your word for it. Because clearly he is correct.
Hey, big.
Large.
Lorg.
I'm just waiting for someone to be like, big man. And then just sit to go, for you.
For you.
Can't wait for Victor to pull the fuck around and find out.
I think it's a fair assessment to make, but I think we are in the finding out stage of fucking around.
It's true.
So, speaking of, Finnegan has taken the lead, actually heading straight down towards the bridge. Do the rest of you follow?
Yeah. Well, Ollie kind of has to follow him because otherwise Ollie will be blind.
Now, here's the reason I ask. Point of question. You get to that second bridge, and you're still following the crack in the foundation, and you could hypothetically continue down the bridge as is, but in the darkness, Ollie, you continue to notice that the footprints do actually descend over a different bridge and head still eastward for sure, but to a different area. They're like little pools of liquid. And of course, because of the moisture down here and the temperature down here, even if they were old, they wouldn't evaporate. So you have a decision to make. Do you continue heading eastward, or do you follow the spider web?
Do you compare that to the rest, Oli?
I kind of am intrigued by the spider web. And yeah, he'll communicate everything to everyone.
What do you say to your party members?
Well, I don't know much about the structure of the Undercity. Despite Orsov having some stuff down here, I don't really know what to look for. So if you'll direct your attention this way and he'll direct them towards, the spider web. Victor, what would your opinion be? Shall we check this out or follow Mr. Faulkner's, lead?
So in one direction we have footprints, and the other is following a hairline fracture on the foundations.
Yes. And while they both seem to be headed eastward, one seems to be going. The hairline fracture is in the foundation, which would mean going just heading straight eastward. Just keep following this bridge as you would. Just keep going. But if you were to follow the footprints as they extend into the other bridges, I refer to it as a spider web because that's honestly kind of what it looks like. But it is just bridges, right? If you were to follow the puddles, the footprint puddles, if you will, it would take you to a different area, still eastward, but to a different area of the sewers.
Since Finn is I assume some distance ahead. Actually, Victor will raise his voice and go, "Where are you going?"
Finnegan will turn back around, walk towards the group. I was following the fracture here as he points to it again. I'm theorizing that this may have been, if we trace the source of it, we'll find the earthquake, quote unquote. And then we can get a bigger clue and to figure out how they broke in.
We also have footprints going this direction. He looks both directions. We are tasked with finding the items. I reckon the footprints will lead us that way. If we are wrong, we can come back.
Finnegan will look back towards the cracks and will just point the accusatory finger towards them. I'll be back for you. And then he'll look to the group. Yeah, let's give it a shot.
You continue along, following these puddles. What strikes you as odd is that the more you follow them, the bigger they get. As if to insinuate that heading in the direction that you already were going is much drier. That said, you continue along and eventually find yourself in a different area, still up on a platform. But as you come to, you're up against now the other side, you see an open tunnel that extends all the way, like an arch, that extends all the way into even the ground area, so allowing the water that's below you to continue flowing through it. And in front of you, there are a few things that you see. Number one, you see a giant pool of water. Like, not in the sense of, oh, it's super deep, but in what you were originally following being the size of footprints, this is now much larger. Much larger. At least, shall we say, medium humanoid size. It's kind of like someone just melted in place, almost. There's it's the equivalent of an inch of rain and a puddle is just like a large, I almost want to say like nightstand table size puddle in the middle of the floor. But next to it, in front of it, you see one of those little, I'm trying to think of the word. I am no plumber, so bear with me. And I am no civil engineer, bear with me. But you have this contraption, this weird metallic contraption in front of you that has what appears to be some dials and some levers on it, as well as, again, wheels. And this metal contraption seems to be connected to much smaller pipes, and these pipes are thread, shall we say, along the wall, bolted in. Some of them are blue, some of them are red. And it's at this point too that you notice something in particular, because of the way that the light hits one of those dials. You notice that it's broken. The dial's broken.
I'll say Ollie will go over to inspect the liquid in the puddle. Mostly it's because Orzhov do have a thing with recycling certain things, so he wants to make sure that it's actually water. And because you said medium creature size, I was like, oh.
Roll me an investigation check, and then describe for me how you investigate the water.
Okay. Oh, just a 7. Oh, wait a second. I still have the vizier.
You sure do.
Yep. 1 second here.
Okay, 10.
All right. Well, Ollie will just...
10 to 10.
Yeah, Ollie will just dip 2 fingers in, kind of get a feel for the water, and then, kind of examine it, just by sight. First, he's going to see if it is actually water, just kind of, again, testing the viscosity and other stuff. That one would just be a normal touch, and then if it wasn't seeming like it was normally water, he'd start to try to examine it and try to figure out qualities of it.
Sure thing. And what's interesting, as you drag your fingers across, you start to notice that there are multiple viscosities here. And in very much the way that oil and water interact, you find that almost dead center, in a much smaller surface area, is a totally different substance. It doesn't feel like water. If anything, it feels, I hate to say it, like chocolate sauce.
Okay. I'm not sure what the stuff in the middle is, but the rest is basically water? I have no idea what it could be.
Finn will walk over with the lantern to just try to shed a bit more light on it.
You're not going to like this.
Oh boy.
It's almost reflective back in such a way that I need both of you to roll me Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy!
Oh. 16.
17.
You quickly shield your eyes for a moment and allow them to adjust before looking back. That's as the light hits it, bright, neon green.
Hey, DM.
Mm-hmm.
Might I roll a survival check to see if I know what this... A survival check to see if I know what this is?
Absolutely.
Come on, Pyle. 14.
14. You absolutely can.
You said survival or nature?
I will let you choose. Just note that a survival check is going to result in a different response than a nature check because it's different information.
Fair.
I will go for a nature, actually. That is a 15.
This makes actually a lot of sense. Pyle, one of the things about the Boros Legion and being acquainted with people of the Boros Legion is y'all share stories. You share stories of combat. You share stories of victory. And you also share warning signs with each other.
Mm-hmm.
That, although not quite in the way that Ollie just kind of swiped his fingers through with seemingly no negative effects, and the way that it bright in its light, it didn't, shall we say, necessarily look exactly like what you've heard. But you do know that in this world, oozes and jellies do exist.
Ugh. Having had yes. Wow, I'm having a hard time speaking. I'm so sorry.
You good?
Pyle will reach down and put her hand on both Ollie and Finn's shoulder and gently pull them back away from it.
Victor. Sorry, really quickly.
Oh, no.
I want to add this in here. You
No, go
also
ahead.
are able to identify that this is an ooze sort of creature, but with a nature check. This is the information I'm going to give you that is different. Is that you have enough knowledge to recognize when you know or see a, shall we call it a natural, as
You cut out right at natural.
gold. No,
actually-
naturally.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you first.
I was just gonna say, like, you haven't been cutting out nearly as much. Just cut out, like, the odd word, but you are much clearer so far. Just giving you the heads up.
Okay, if I do need to switch out, I can.
I mean, so far, like
No,
I
you're
said,
fine.
you've been pretty, like, consistently understandable for this entire time. It'll just occasionally cut out, like, the last part of a word, but it's much
Okay.
more infrequent.
Okay.
Yay.
So you are able to recognize the difference between a naturally, shall we say, a naturally or jelly, as that is something that exists in the sewers and in the maze as well, and even in the hives, right? Like part of that whole recycling thing. And you can tell the difference between that and an artificially created ooze. This seems to be artificially created. But Pyle, you were pulling him back and telling him no?
Yeah, she's not like gonna jerk them back. She has like kind of a firm grip on their shoulders as she pulls them back. No. I've heard stories about this thing from the guild. Them might be things like, they're called like jellies and slams. They're not safe. No, they're not safe.
Oh. Well, excuse me for a second, as Ollie, not sure if this thing might still be alive or not, but still has some on his fingers, immediately just, 1 second here. If it's still alive, it won't be for long. Oh, I forgot I have to properly input this, like, through the other thing, because for some reason, Roll20 can never understand cantrips if they're not first level. Well, if this thing's alive, it takes either 14 or 12 necrotic damage. At least a bit of it on his finger.
Okie dokie. The bit on your finger, is it just the bit on your or are you looking at the bit on the floor?
Well, I guess he would point at the... Let's see here. His idea was trying to get it off his finger, but he doesn't really have anything to wipe off on his person, so I was thinking that he would just try it on that, but I guess if you're right... Well, that's the question. How much of an ooze stays an ooze after it leaves the puddle?
What do you know about oozes?
I don't know. Ollie would definitely not know. He mostly knows, like, what melted down people is, because that's a regular ingredient in many Orzhov things. After that, nope. So I guess I'll do it straight and just say he's basically just trying to, if the thing is alive on his finger, to kill it.
You cast your cantrip, Toll the Dead, and as far as you are aware, nothing's to happen. you don't notice any difference to the little bits of green that are currently on your fingertips.
Ah, okay. So it's definitely not alive. At least I think. I'm just going to. Does anyone got a rag or something? This is not comfortable.
You're wearing one.
Listen,
As Finn demonstrates by wiping his hands on his coat.
and Ollie will point out. Literally, that could cost me my job, and my job is literally my lifeline right now.
Then Finn will just like offer the tail end of his coat and just says like, "All right, wipe your hand."
Thank you. And he will definitely clean off his fingers.
So,
While this is going on, the ooze in front of us, is it moving at all, or does it seem unperturbed?
I'm so glad you asked.
Oh,
So I'm
boy.
gonna start with this first. Hey, Finnegan.
Oh no.
That little spot on your coat, it's like glowing just a little bit. It seems to pulse a little bit with the flickering of your hooded lantern. Not in the sense that it like is moving on your coat, but like there's like a soft neon green glow that gets brighter as the light touches it and darker as the light doesn't. But funny story, it does seem to glow in the dark a little bit. now that you have shown some light on it.
Finn's just gonna shrug. He knows he's not the stealthiest anyway, so he's the one carrying the lantern, so he's just going to accept it.
As for whether or not it is moving, I would like to announce that it is now, but it's not moving towards you. It's like slowly crawling through the water and begins heading towards that weird metal mechanism that's up against them. It's heading in that direction.
Oh, I think it's still alive. I think it's still alive. What do we do?
It is not attacking us.
Do you know what?
This
Sorry.
thing is... yeah, this thing is not naturally occurring. I do not know what it is doing here, but it has an objective. What does the mechanism look like? Like, since I'm from down here,
It's.
can I...
I mean, like I said, it's kind of like piping and coils. You see metal, shall we say? I'm thinking of how to describe this as if a common occurrence, I suppose. Like what it looks like. It's got like a couple of like metal almost barrels that are attached to some of the piping. There's like a metal almost like really large and long crate that, like I said, has a bunch of like dials on it, some levers and some smaller like wheels that you can pull and turn, they kind of look like steering wheels on like a ship. I'm blanking on the term.
Valves?
It's just this large, it's like 10-foot long, like 4-foot high, comes up to like the average person's like waist, stand, or chest. It's pretty large. It's a pretty large mechanism with, like I said, lots of piping that comes out of it, and goes up and around the walls.
This thing is moving towards it.
With the information that I have about jellies and slimes, would I know? And this is just me asking. This is me asking because I have an idea of it, but I don't know if Pyle would. That it's looking for its main body, basically.
Ooh, that's a really great question. I don't necessarily know that you would know that. I will say with your survival role carrying through, I think Pyle would recognize that that's a possibility. I also think Pyle would know that this thing, as you know, what you know of ooze jelly, sure, that whole thing that Victor said about the difference between naturally occurring or artificial, but you do know that oozes do, I guess a word could be to describe it could be eat. They dissolve things, that's for sure. You know that. And again, you do know that they split amongst themselves and can, in fact, try to, shall we say, return to its original being. Whether or not you can tell if this ooze is doing that, you really aren't sure. There's just not enough information to draw that conclusion with confidence.
Yeah, like mainly words. Hearts are word. Basically, I was more just would she have that idea as the possibility?
I think with the role that the role that the survival role that you have, I think Pyle could put that in, in her, shall we say, bag of knowledge or that repertoire.
Okay. As Pilot's watching this thing sort of scoot along, she'll gesture at it with her hand. I mean, if this thing ain't, I guess, natural, she says, making big quotey fingers, maybe it could. I know that regular oozes and slams can divide themselves. Is it maybe looking for its main body?
If it is, it looks like it's in the piping as he gestures to where the ooze seems to be going.
Well, if we let it get into the piping, we won't be able to track it.
I'm going to look through my inventory, see if I got anything handy. Oh, wait. Oh, I just had a stupid idea. Okay, so to light my lantern, I needed a pint of oil, which is exactly the amount that I carried in a flask in my inventory. Could I attempt to get some of that ooze into the flask as much as I can?
Yeah. I'm
Get in the jar, nerd.
I'm gonna say roll. With this, I feel like would you accept sleight of hand?
Absolutely.
Slime of hand.
Slime of hand, yes.
Also,
Limb of hand.
I want to point out how mature we all are in the fact that Zako now has got glow-in-the-dark stains on his coat, and none of us made a blacklight joke.
That is a soft
easy.
20.
You kind of
Nice.
saunter over to this thing that is now like crawling, if you imagine ooze is crawling, and you just kind of swipe, and you now have how you said a pint.
Yes.
You have a pint of ooze.
As a test, Finn is going to see if he holds it still long ways. If the ooze looks like it's still okay, I guess I should ask this first. Even though he's got a pint of it in the flask now, is there still some on the ground in the puddle trying to move?
Oh, absolutely.
And he's going to look comparatively to the ooze that he's got in his flask. Does it look like... Oh, man, I don't know if it's clear or not.
I have a question for you, because
Yeah.
it's not going to say in its description. So I'm going to ask you as a narrative beat. Is this flask made of glass, or is it made of metal? And if it is made of glass, what is the cap made out of?
Considering it's oil, I would say, if I factor in a lot of things, I would say yes. Actually, it's one of those, it is a glass flask, and the cap is like, how do I describe it? It's like one of those little metal fixtures that's kind of like a pop tab, but it's got a nice solid cork that you can just squeeze in, and then you push the trigger on it to pop it open.
You watch. The ooze seems to be crawling towards the metal in your flask.
But it is not going the same direction as the rest of the ooze.
I mean, that's hard to say because it's moving towards the opening. But you can clearly see as it's extending itself up the sides of the flask that it is specifically heading towards the metal.
Finn will step away from the puddle, like get a good 5 feet away, and then point the business end, the metal end of the flask the opposite direction, like towards where we came.
Mhm.
And the slime is still heading towards the metal.
It's still heading towards the metal, correct?
All right, he's going to set it so that it's flat. Well, not on the ground, but he's just gonna hold it in his hand, like you would a soda pop. So opening upwards. He's gonna look to everybody. Science experiment complete. So he's gonna point to the ooze. It looks like it's not looking for its body. It's looking for metal. Does anyone know of any oozes or slimes that, as he shakes the flask a little bit, eat or like metal?
This thing is not from here. Or natural, at least.
That being said, Ollie's
I
gonna. Oh, sorry.
don't know if it was made to be a problem, but it's going to be one if it starts eating the pipes.
Well, it would also be a problem for Miss Pyle here, as Oleander's now trying to push Pyle, well, futilely trying to push Miss Pyle away from the ooze because she is covered in heavy armor.
She doesn't even notice that he's pushing her because she's just kind of staring down at this ooze like, She looks like she's thinking real fucking hard, like, oh god, what did they say at the Boros? Come on, we can do this. It's that fucking Winnie the Pooh. Think.
I want to imagine just Ollie pushing at Pyle like a cartoon, just moving in place.
Yeah, no, I was literally thinking he had the full Sonic run, just trying to.
Yeah, and she's just standing there. She's just genuinely thinking, not me trying to rub Pyle's two fucking brain cells together. Would you be opposed to rolling history to see if perhaps there's anything else that she's heard about this regarding eating metal?
Absolutely.
Considering that she works at a forge?
Yeah.
Alright, come on, Pyle. Let's do that -1. 10, that's better than what I expected.
10 is a 10. 10 is average. So here's what I will say. You don't know of stories of oozes that are actively seeking things out. Sure, they dissolve metal. You know that generic oozes have the capacity to deteriorate things like armor and weapons, but you've never heard of an ooze deliberately going out of its way to shall we say, eat metal.
I think at this point is when she'll finally notice that Ollie is pushing on her, and she'll lift both of her hands. Huh? Oh, sorry. She'll take a step back as he's mid-push.
Ah! He just falls onto the ground.
Wait a minute, hold on. See if I can roll a dex to catch him. There we go, scruffed by the back of the coat.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got you.
Well, should we stop this thing? I mean, we have a sample of it that we could possibly use. Because I kind of do want to inspect that station. I don't know much about ISA technology, but maybe I could figure something out.
I mean, if you got something to set it on fire, because I ain't stabbing it with my knife.
I mean, I don't think oozes are real affected by stabbing and slashing. She says, rubbing her temple with her finger. Hold on. I need to look at my spell list real quick. No, heat metal is not the answer here.
I almost forgot to do this. Whoops. Sorry, folks.
Oh, you're fine.
Again, Pyle is standing there. She seems to be squinting, thinking real hard. could try something. See if it affects it or not. And she'll look to the others to be like, is it okay if I take it a shot?
Ollie just
Finnegan will give a gesture of, go right ahead.
by all means. Otherwise, I'll have to shake my hand at it.
She'll let go of Ollie and let him stand up on his own, and she'll look at Victor for the last, is this okay?
Victor will nod and unhook his shield.
Alright, and then I guess towards the ooze that's sort of scooching away, I think the closest thing I have is she'll try and cast Word of Radiance on it.
Okay. Now, if I understand correctly, yeah, that's radiant damage. All right. You need a con save? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just...
It's what I got, man.
No. It's fine. It's fine. Hold on.
Oh, wait, there we go. I didn't mean to click that, but okay, that works.
I mean,
Yeah,
it does show their proper DC, because whenever you have to do spell cards, it almost never gets your spell save DC right.
Yeah, I am already putting together what is going to happen.
Same.
So,
Sweats. Aggressively sweats.
What you need to know is that the ooze failed its con save because it's an ooze, and they aren't exactly. I mean, they have a high constitution, but like they aren't exactly the
Proficient.
how do you? Yeah, so it, so it fails its save. Go ahead and roll damage.
Sure.
It's right there. 9.
Oh yeah, there it is. It'd be 9 damage.
Okay, so
It just fucking explodes.
hold on.
Hold it.
Describe for me what it looks like when you cast this spell.
Like she does like with the other spells that she's cast. There's just kind of this faint white blue light on her hand, and then she just points at it very gently, and it just it's like that fucking scene from Dragon Ball Z where Vegeta just points the fucking laser at somebody. And it's just
So you know what happens when light hits prism?
Oh
shit.
Oh wow! I thought everyone knew what was about to happen. It's just you and me, Citric.
No.
Disco ball of death.
I would like to remind you that fucking Pyle has a -1 to intelligence.
And what was originally blue light is now vibrant green. I would love and appreciate if my entire party could roll Constitution saving throws.
Oh boy!
No, I refuse.
You just started the rave.
soft 20.
11.
19.
That nat
for
one
me.
on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
So,
It's fine, I've looked into forges. This is nothing.
fortunately for all of you, you are not blinded. The majority of you, with the exception of Oleander, only take 4 points of radiant damage. Oleander, you take 9 points of radiant damage.
Okay, give me
Oh,
1 second.
Jesus.
As what I can only describe is like you mentioned, like disco ball ooze, except it's more like like I said, like when you put like a laser into a prism and it just breaks apart. You've got like these cool little beams of green light hitting in every direction. It does seem to be affected though by the light. As it continues to sort of inch away from you, slowly but surely.
You know
I
what?
can't believe
Okay,
we're all blinded by the light.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to specifically ask for fire.
I can't do that, but I've
Kyle.
had a day, so this thing is going to die. And as he says that, you are going to start seeing a ton of spirits start flying around him as I use one of my special invocations once I can find it. Where are you? Ah. Okay, let me make this so everyone can see it. Shroud of the Unquieted Dead. So, visually, I am basically calling all the spirits within and around this area, and they are encircling me. And then Ollie just holds out his hand, points it at that thing, and one of them flies off straight into it. Chill touch.
Uh-huh.
I don't like how the DM said that.
Yeah, me either. But, I'm just gonna roll to hit. Let's see if it hits. Does a 12 hit?
It does.
I already feel like
it
I have
does.
aired, so I'm just gonna let this happen. So,
Yeah, roll your damage.
9, and if it has
Okay.
any resistances, it ignores them. Thanks to,
It sure does. I have to ask. You
Uh-huh.
say that a spirit goes into it. Does it, like, nosedive? Does it grip it? Like, what?
I'm flavoring it as because the way this cantrip is said, I basically am firing out a ghost hand. It's literally the ghost flying through, one arm out, just like reaching through it.
So, and I'm so sorry if anyone's eating right now.
Nope.
You know, in Ghostbusters, how sometimes the ghost will explode into goop.
It slimed me.
It does in fact as the damage is done and it explodes, proceed to slime everything within a 10-foot radius of it. So if you have not backed away from it, as it is slow to move, I do need a dex save.
Okay.
Finn, in fact, did back away for his science
Yep.
experiment.
Yep, you did. Yep.
Oh boy.
Hey, I have a shield. Can I argue advantage?
20.
Yes, I can. I will allow a shield.
Same
Sick.
here. I did on hook.
Oh, fuck. I needed it.
Oh jeez.
So if that is with advantage, that would be a 12.
Fucking rip.
I just want-
Ollie, you are
Well,
you are so prepared for this.
No, I
You're
actually
like,
have
I
something
know
for
exactly
this.
what's happening.
Literally,
go for it.
literally, all of the spirits literally come up in a wave to protect me from the slime.
If they were ready, you were. I mean, you knew exactly. You got the result you wanted. You came here on a mission, and you got results. I will say this because you both, press R to shield. You both shield, and your shield is slathered in slime. What I will note that it strikes you both as very interesting is that this does not do damage to either of your shields.
Pyle very nervously peeking over the front of her shield like, oh, am I gonna have to fix this on the fly? Oh.
Also, I want to say that Ollie probably had to step forward right after this thing exploded because I forgot that Shroud of the Unquieted Dead hurts all creatures within 5 feet of me. So,
Yeah.
just do that so that way no one else gets attacked by the spirits. But you will see them kind of
Yeah,
just
no, that's-
fly and swing around at you guys.
That's fair.
Finn will see all the slime damage, or not quote unquote damage, to everyone's shields, and will just look at the stain already on his coat and just looks at everyone and says, "Yeah, I don't think my coat's cleaning all that."
yeah, Victor will
Pile.
look at this shield. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on with that?
Oh, you might want to say that again, Citric. You
Yeah,
Kind of
I
faded out.
missed that.
Oh, sorry.
Just-
Yeah,
yeah.
Victor will look at his shield and try to figure out what's going on there. Like,
It's roll like very slowly like rolling off of both of your shields until eventually it splats on the ground and proceeds to essentially dissolve, evaporate.
Huh.
The only remaining ooze at this point is the ooze that is in Finnegan's flask, which, by the way, have you removed it from your flask?
No, he's still.
It is actively eroding the metal on your flask.
Finnegan's going to look at the metal of the flask being eaten and then look towards everyone's shields. You said the shields are unharmed?
Yeah.
Correct.
Finn's gonna give a quick, like, snap to everybody just to address them to look over towards him and show the metal of his flask being eaten. Well, that's that's confusing. It wants the metal here, but not what's in your hands.
because it is alive. The one that exploded was dead.
Right.
Does anyone have a cork?
It is a cork.
But a non-metal one. Because I thought you said the flask itself was glass and I thought the cap was metal.
So, what I had in my
It
brain...
has an armature.
This is so hard to describe, but it's corked by
No,
like
I know exactly. I know exactly the type of bottle you mean. Yeah, with an armature on the top, but it's a swivel that you can put like glass to lock the cork on.
Yeah, it's an actual cork, like a rubber or whatever that stuff's made out of cork, but it's like the rim of it is attached to a little metal clang that you can just like click off and click back
And
in.
it's eating that metal. Like it's sliding around the cork and it's eating that metal.
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's maneuvering itself around, like deliberately like shifting itself around the cork and is starting to erode and like latch itself to the metal aspect of that flask.
To avoid any further damage, Finn will just look to everybody. Anybody else got something left to bash it, or am I just gonna have to throw this?
I mean, I don't want to use any more of my light spells. I could heat the metal, Pyle says.
Actually, there's an experiment. He's gonna put the flask on the ground and step back. As it's still eating the metal, right?
Yep. It's a slow process because it's actively like eroding it, so you're watching the metal in real time going through, like the tarnish and eroding process. But it's the equivalent of eating the metal, yeah.
Now this is just fun at this point. Light it up.
Oh, okay. And Pyle, just learning from the explosion from last time, will thunk the tower shield in front of the glass bottle to keep most of her body behind it and reach around and use heat metal on the little springy doos just to see what it'll do.
Absolutely.
Where is it? There it is. This is the one I need. Yes? Question mark. Boop. It needs to make a Constitution. If not, it takes 9 fire damage.
So here's how I'm going to describe what happens. You heat the metal, and it slinks back into the flask.
Ah.
I rolled a natural 20. So that's how I'm narratively describing natural 20.
Fair enough.
Pyle actively not looking at this thing because she's just like, ugh. It's like when you want to. It's like when you don't want to touch something and you're just fucking like you have like a pot pan or something.
Finnegan is gonna get a little irked and walked over and grab the flask and turn it upside down to see if the ooze will keep trying to fight its way or if it'll just fall into the opposite end towards the metal.
I have a question. Are you holding concentration on heat metal?
Yeah. I mean, he told.
Okay.
That's what she's doing.
Then,
She's just.
then yeah, like it's you can watch as it's trying its best. It's not to get too sciencey up in here. It is trying to use the capillary effect and surface tension to keep itself up at the top of the like what is effectively the bottom of the flask, but as you have it upside down, like at the top.
You are stubborn. Finn will check his inventory again, because I gotta have something that can kill this thing.
I mean,
I don't want you.
I could always try a hand at it, he says, as like two spirits like get up at the ready for his command, because I still have this for a little less than a minute now.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, everyone just get distance from it, as Finn's just gonna, like...
I learned from my mistakes, don't worry. And again, this time, much more powerfully, you will hear a resounding gong as one of the spirits behind him just lets out like a strange like wail. As boom, Toll the Dead. So it needs to make a DC 14, I believe, Wisdom save.
And I'm sure you know, not necessarily Ollie, but Vaughn, how wise oozes are.
Yeah, the better question is it considered hurt since it's split off?
Uh-huh, it is.
Then it takes 14 necrotic damage.
Yeah, how... I'm trying to think of how to describe this, because it is encased in the glass. Here's how I will describe this. It does evaporate. But the way that I would like to describe this is that because of the nature of it being in the flask and the metal still heated, as it begins to turn into a gaseous form, it actually turns into like neon green steam until it just dissipates out of the flask.
Oh, sweet, I can keep my flask. And he will pocket that.
After that, like, Ollie will take the cane that he's kind of had, like, loosely around with him. He's just going to clack the ground hard, and the spirits will disperse because Shroud of Unquieted Dead dissipates.
Alright.
Pyle sheepishly looks over the top of her shield. Did it work?
Yep, it's dead.
Ah! Good work!
Finn's gonna double check the amount on his coat again, just to be safe.
It's still there. It's
Okay.
just little glowing, just a little bit.
He's gonna hold the flask towards the tail end of his coat, just to be like, get the metal.
This is terrible. I'm gonna pull out like really old school references. You know Flubber?
Oh no.
Yes.
You know the image of Flubber like moving towards where it wants to go?
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Until it like touches the metal part of the flask. It's gonna need to do the con save. It's gonna fail the con save.
Actually,
Immediately gonna
you know
go
what?
back for the coat.
I also love that you basically just gave a litmus test to, are you a millennial? And the chat is reacting.
Finn's just gonna give up and just put the flask back in his coat. Okay, no one touch me with metal. I'm just giving up.
Huh. Well, that brings a real interesting question, though. Why does it lack the metal on the flask, but not this? And she'll gently wrap the back of her shield.
I think Victor pointed out that it was dead when it, quote unquote, dead when it exploded versus an alive piece, as he points to his tailcoat.
Hmm.
So it wasn't eating.
That is correct. Yes.
No, the real question is, who left it here, and where did it come from?
That is my question. If it was left here on purpose.
I wish
That is
to-
a problem.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Finnegan wishes to investigate the area to look for signs of other footprints or an entry point this thing could have been dropped in, or any signs of damage it had already done?
I would like you to roll me first a perception check, and then because you asked for 2 different things,
Oh,
and
sorry.
then an investigation check.
Sure thing. Perception is 17, and investigation soft 20.
Yeah. So first things first, you notice that interestingly enough, you notice that there is signs of that footprints that are moving off of the platform and onto a different bridge, so keeping moving further into the sewer system. And you also notice, because you asked for a point of entry, you actually, now that you look at it, as you look down a ways down the platform and down towards the bridge that the footprints are on, you notice that there is shattered glass, like just spread about, about, I would say about like a solid 5-10 feet away from where the, shall we say, collective of water and was. As for asking for damage, yeah, you actually do notice damage. You kind of walk around the platform a little bit and just sort of like, in the best way that I can describe this, sort of looking about all of the metal. There's a lot of metal here. You notice that a lot of the railings around this platform have experienced a great amount of, shall we say, erosion. You also notice that there is what appears to be like half of a lever on the ground that has some erosion on the metal holding it together.
Finn will absorb all that, and we'll point to the shattered glass area. So it looks like our friend came in here through the explosive glass over there, walked over here and did some damage, and he will point to the footprints. And now that you pointed them out, Finn's gonna look into those footprints with the lantern. Do they also have ooze in them?
They do not. Seems to be just water.
And
Well,
the-
water and, as much as dirty water can be dirty in this particular environment. So, whatever might be living in that water.
It's suspiciously clean.
And then Finn will point that out. And there's no ooze in these steps, so whatever came in, left the ooze, walked off, and the ooze did its business till we arrived. Now, whether that's connected to the earthquake, we'll have to find out. As he points back to where the fissures were.
Do you want to explore that?
Only if we are out of exploring options here, or if anyone else can think of anything.
We can still follow the footsteps. They came here from that direction.
Finn will look towards the footsteps, and then that's where we shall head.
And with that, as you have decided where to go next, I think that's a good place for us to pause and take a break.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. I will be right back.
Same.
I love that if you don't have a member of Is It in your group, there's no designated thinker, so we are a very interesting group.
So, quick reminder to everyone in chat to please drink your leg and stretch some water. Always important.
I will be right back.
Same here. Vaughn, you're alone.
Don't worry, I'm fine. So, chat, I'm glad everyone seems to be enjoying it. We've had a lot of people coming in. Also want to thank Gold Osburn for the follow earlier. But yeah, no, Ravnica is such a fun setting that just spending 2 hours in a sewer can give us this much enjoyment. Also, dear Lord, I opened up Twitter while we were on break, and I'm just looking at all these people who are for the first time discovering Buggy the Clown because of the live action One Piece adaptation. uh, Especially from the weird Tumblr campaign they did to try to get awareness for it out, where their only thing that they thought that they should do was have a picture of live action Buggy the Clown on a barrel just staring at everyone on the side of their page. And then a bunch of people were like, why is the creepy clown looking at me? What is this? Can I turn it off?
I am back.
Welcome back. I'm going to use this chance to ag out, but I did just share with everyone the hilariousness of the Tumblr campaign with Buggy the Clown. Hey, I'm away.
Whew. Hope everyone's enjoying the show so far.
And I return.
Welcome back.
Oh, so I have to ask, since you're the only one who's actually watched it, how long are the episodes for the new One Piece?
Oh, they're all about almost an hour long.
Okay, I mean that's still a lot to compress, but at least now I can kind of understand how they can kind of justify basically doing the first bunch of arcs worth it of One Piece.
Yeah, it's honestly like because they do change a lot of the. Okay, how do I explain this? The changes that they make are understandable due to the format that they are in, but they're not like bad changes. There's a couple like side characters who unfortunately didn't make it or had their roles shifted and changed just for the purposes of a bit of a tighter story, but it all works to its benefits. It's honestly like impressive how they were able to be as good as it was. Like honestly, I'll admit I'm not the biggest like die hard One Piece fan, but out of the things that were changed or lost, I was able to accept them.
Fair.
So we're talking One Piece?
Hmm?
We're talking One Piece?
Yes.
Nice. Very nice.
But I have no misconception when I say this is easily like one of the best live action adaptations of an anime I've ever seen.
So it's a high bar. Yes. If I have to think about like live action adaptations, the one that comes to mind is the Ronnie Kenshin one, but I have issues like promoting that one at all because of the author. Because fuck that
so
guy.
I guess I should specify American adaptation, live action adaptations. Like American live action adaptations, easily like the best because I don't really think the bar's that high for everything else. I mean, I guess if you really liked Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah, that's the one with Tom Cruise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't even know how accurate that was, but apparently casual audiences liked it.
Mm. Oh, give me a second.
Oh, you're fine. Oh, since we just talked about it, give me a second here.
Sure.
Did it do dropping this in call text?
Okay.
Yeah. Though, here's the thing. I would never have thought about touching even One Piece, which is one of my favorite anime series of all times, like live action adaptation, just because like they're typically not for me. But the reason why I want to give it a chance is because Inaki, the main like the Luffy, is so genuinely like trying to make sure this series like succeeds because he also loves One Piece. And he was
but-
literally chosen by Oda to be him because he made him smile. And he's like, I made Senpai smile. Oh,
Yeah, I watched like the Netflix little behind the scenes documentary of Inaki meeting Oda in Japan, and it honestly like made me choke up a little bit seeing Inaki be in Oda's place, and like he even presented him like Inaki draws, and he drew like a his version of like Luffy's a wanted poster picture and gave it to Oda with a special message being like, "Hey, thanks for creating this. You're an inspiration to me, and I hope I do well by you."
yeah, no, like
That's
from everything
very
I've seen, the
sweet.
cast are like fantastic and happy to be a part of this. But like Inaki is just like, dude, the dream. I had my one shot. I got this. Can't be a flash in the pan. This has to be good.
I really, really hope there's a season 2 and they continue it.
I mean, it's right now,
Heck yeah.
literally, before you got on, Zako, like, I was scrolling through Twitter while I was trying to get the prep up. It is literally the most popular show on American Netflix right now.
Damn right.
Good.
Yeah, on a premiere date like that, since most of those shows live and die by their premieres, especially on Netflix, it's probably going to get greenlit for at least another season. And that's before it gets the international numbers.
Well, this is Netflix we're talking about, where they will
Yeah,
tax
they
off their own
cancel
hits.
shit left and right.
It
The thing
depends
with
if
Netflix.
it all really depends. Like, again, because Netflix also is dipping because all of the other streaming services. If this is actually bringing in people, if it's actually increased subscriptions at all, then they might actually keep it. Again, I know about the jadedness. I'm just looking at it from a business standpoint.
Well, I actually I heard a someone who does like had broke down their method of shall we say marketing,
Mhm.
and one of the big reasons why they cancel after a first season has everything to do with their particular subscription model and their supposedly their bottom line, which seems to be from the way that they described it and the way that they were analyzing it based on new subscriptions and not retained subscriptions, which is why we tend to see a lot of shows that are really, really good not receive the funding or straight up have seasons canceled.
Hello, I've returned.
Welcome back.
Well, then I think the international market will be what possibly decides this then, because Netflix isn't as big in other like areas. So if this becomes an international draw, which it probably can because of Japan, we might have a shot.
Please.
Oh my god.
Oh, are we talking about the One Piece anime or
Yeah.
live action?
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
To
good
sell
shit.
To celebrate the One Piece anime, Toothless the puppy and her brother Hiccup we did a photo shoot with little straw hats, and I'm dying.
Aw.
Yeah, I watched the video where Oda met the dude who played Luffy in person, and it was so heckin' wholesome.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Ah, okay.
We'll say we're all back, but just please give me time to like finish this my last cigarette for the night, because then I have to like exit the room and flush it down the toilet, so that'll just end up derailing
Yeah.
us.
Oh, we're good.
Good, all good.
Take your time.
I'll actually I want to see if I can still find it, because like I was flipping through Instagram and I saw like this one like clothing provider that does like almost exclusively different One Piece like apparel, from show accurate stuff to you can get like a shirt that just has whatever your favorite character's flag is, like just the skull and crossbones all across it, and a bunch of other like just innocuous like the outfits that were kind of worn by people and just easy to wear for them.
I'm gonna need a link to that.
Yeah, I was actually, if Instagram wasn't so garbage at like sharing, I literally would have sent that to both you and Sarah's today, Sako. But yeah, I also commented as you guys walked away. It's hilarious that without an is it in our party, we have no designated thinker or person who could just look at stuff and tell us what it is.
I mean, we have.
What do
have
you think I
Psycho, come on.
maxed int for?
Well, it all depends.
Imagine wanting.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, imagine being a thinker. It's definitely not me.
Meanwhile, I can.
I love that I'm actually allowed to be smart.
I'm just sitting here knowing because we're basically like the mirror of Tart's Ravnica game, which their group is a Selesnya, and is it a Rakdos, and I'm trying to remember the last one. Oh, trying to remember. But yeah, they have like all of the reverse of what we are playing, and apparently they also like after their at the start of their second session ended up going into the sewers. So if you really, if you guys want to keep getting a Ravnica fix besides from our channel, just go back to my main page on YouTube, scroll down, you'll find a link to all the people that I collaborate with, one of which is Farting Tart. You can go to his YouTube channel, he's got all this stuff there, so that way you can just keep on going for your fix. And I can show my friends.
I like that our party
consists. And you remember to like and subscribe, of course, very important. If you do not do that, stay away.
I like that our party is consisted of two thinkers and two unga bungas.
Well, okay,
I'll your bunga.
We hit thing. Me and Citric hit thing real hard. Everyone else is like, why are they sharing the brain cell?
To be fair, like Victor is not dumb, but he is not the most interested in high concept stuff. He's simple.
Also, I totally.
I didn't mean to infer that he was dumb or anything. I just meant like we're very singular focused.
Also, I totally forgot it was September. So, well, that's a thing now. I guess
I need to actually start streaming again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Though
boy.
that at least means the subs I gifted earlier were half price.
Hey,
Which,
Because-
by the way, thank you for that.
I can never have a DM for one of my games go unsubscribe to my channel. You gotta have some of the benefits of hanging out with me.
That would be unseemly, yes.
But I'm good. I just threw away a cigarette, so if we're all ready, we can get back into the game.
Yep.
Alrighty then.
Okay, do.
We emerge. Or I should say, submerge.
Damn it.
Hey.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Keck.
So, following the footsteps, we go further into the mire. And it is starting to smell off, by the way. If I hadn't specified it before, it's a little rancid in here. These are sewers. For better or for worse. And I would just love, very, very briefly, perception checks as you all are walking again.
Okay.
Will do.
Of course. Perception.
That's a 21 for me.
Oh,
16.
geez, that's my lowest low of the night. 12.
9.
This makes sense. Finnegan, you are dead set focused on following the footstep trail. And Oleander, you are also pretty dead set, I would say, in following the trail. Pyle, you're just... I don't want to speak for Pyle, but Pyle's being Pyle.
Man, it smells like an old raiding party in here.
This
It's distracting.
feels appropriate. Victor, you see, if you look down for a moment from the bridge, with water flowing beneath you, into the water below, you start to notice something that folks previously hadn't. And you start to notice some of those bird shapes in the water, along with maybe a few humanoid shapes in the water, just bobbing downstream. You also notice, with your dark vision, that unironically, that hairline fracture that you could barely see has actually gotten bigger as you've been walking down further, and to the point where even though you are not, your eye catches the fact that it's bigger. And it's still heading in that direction. Until eventually, sure enough, the four of you emerge onto a different platform. And you all catch wind of a, well, bit of rubble, tunnel collapse. Or I should say an archway collapse. This is one of the exits from the platform that you're currently on. Has caved in with those fractures that you were looking at earlier, all seeming to come to this point. You do see more water, you see more footprints. Anything else beyond that, because there's a lot of rubble here, it's going to require investigation checks.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
But if I am allowed to ask before that,
Yeah.
the footprints, do they seem to be affected by the rubble, implying that the caving happened after whomever walked this trail, or do they move around the rubble?
It seems, I'm so glad that you asked. I'll go ahead and just give this to you. Yeah, it seems like the footprints were made after the fact. Or I'm sorry, before the fact. So the explosion was after the fact. Sorry for the confusion.
You're perfectly fine.
All right, and you said investigation checks?
Correct.
yeah.
Should I roll? Should I roll anyway?
I'm getting
It's up to you.
Soft 10.
Since we have
13.
since we have the chance.
Oh, right.
That's 17.
Ooh, 13.
I'm actually gonna say, because this to me makes logical sense, Victor, and I'm gonna go ahead and this with advantage pile, and I'll explain why. The two of you have the highest strength scores, inferring that you're able to move this stonework much more easily than your two companions. But nevertheless, a 10 is still a 10, so we'll start from the bottom. Oleander, here's something that strikes you.
Well, I'm technically not the bottom because I have a 13.
You're right, 13. Sorry.
With the +7, I rolled the lowest.
Finnegan, this does make sense. In addition to
Dice give
seeing...
the die take it away.
They sure do. In addition to seeing the cracks, and you connecting the dots, that this is definitely something that caused that hairline fracture. Wouldn't you know it? Scorch marks. You see scorch marks. Very similarly to those that you saw earlier today in that vault. Oleander.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you would notice that strikes you as particularly interesting. Is that you also notice just a smidgen of arcane residue on some of this rubble. Victor and Pyle.
Yeah.
You both, as you're shuffling this rubble around, notice something very particular. Two things. Number one, it seems that this explosion was designed to, prevent someone from being able to go through in that direction. But what strikes you as also particularly interesting is some of the rubble here does not seem to be, and also the ground, the surface, does not seem to strictly be, shall we say, explosion based. You both notice claw marks.
They close their exit. They did not want to be followed.
I think we're dealing with the exact same group. Arcane residue here.
The explosion scorch marks match the same that were in the vault.
Do I notice any spores?
Well, okay, that's a little difficult because of where you are. But
Yeah, we are in the on.
But no, you don't.
Fair enough.
And there's
I'll-
something also.
Oh, I'm sorry.
particularly interesting that you both notice just in your peripheral is that those footsteps that you were hearing before are getting closer. What does Pyle do?
Oh, Pyle was gonna point out the claw marks, but if she's hearing footsteps, she'll immediately straighten up and look towards where they are coming from, or where she thinks they're coming from.
Victor will do the same, and he will get out, like he will get his hand on his axe. Like he already had the shield out, but now he the axe comes out.
Oh, the axe comes out. Okay. You both hear sound of footprints, and eventually all four of you footfalls. I mean, it's not hard. This is a very acoustic space, and eventually you actually a torchlight approaching. And sooner or later, you see, well, she's in your handouts, but you
Oh.
see
Ooh.
an individual with what appears to be, it's so interesting. The hat itself seems to have stained glass, almost like little, I don't want to call them like carvings, because they're literally like, shall we say, hole punched out of the hat itself, literal stained glass.
I watched this
You-
ghost TikTok.
Shh, don't call me out like that.
No, it's a good design choice. Shush, you're fine.
Steals
With
her feet.
black and white flowing robes. You see little sun, shall we say, detailings, little golden sun detailings along the chest, and you notice that she's actually wearing underneath those robes chainmail armor, like a chainmail shirt hidden underneath. And she approaches and looks absolutely stunned, like flabbergasted, as she sees, like, oh, they sent somebody. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
Victor will look
assuming.
Victor will just look at Ollie. Like,
Yeah, so I'm gonna assume that she's pretty high, high in Orzhov if she has this much, ability to, dedicate to her fashion. Also, remind me after this, stream's over, I gotta show you, a wrestler named Julia Hart who does the exact same thing with her hat.
Oh, excellent.
ooh.
But yeah, I can assume that she's at least probably, around, a syndic or above, right?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, she's pretty high up there.
Yes. My apologies. Oleander Bedford. We're investigating the break-in to my family's vault.
They did send the kid after all.
Yes.
Interesting choice.
Well, there might be a restructuring of my family's affairs soon, considering this, so who better to send than me?
I would not blame you in the slightest. And I see that the recruitment letters made it out safely. Excellent to see. I'm really, really glad that they finally on this. It is. I mean this in the most respectful way possible. I should be doing other things and could. They had me sticking around here until they could send somebody.
Ah. Well, may I be so bold as to ask your name, please?
Oh, of course. How rude of me. Svetlana Kiev.
Ah. Pleasure. These are my associates, Finnegan Faulkner, Victor, and Pyle. We've just discovered that this is probably the escape path they used.
This is where we lost track of them, anyway.
Yes, from what we've discovered back at the vault, we believe we're dealing with a Golgari, an Izzet, and a Simic. At least.
You see, she seems to pause as you say that, and like has this very thoughtful look on her face, as if she's processing the information. Her brows furrow a little bit, and she grows rather quiet for a moment. I suppose that would make sense.
We do not know if the guilds themselves are implied, but they are at least people related to them.
I think that's a fair enough assessment. I mean, after all, I don't necessarily, if this is too bold a statement, that the particular involvement of this, shall we call it, incident, is related to anything on a higher, grander scale. Although I, if I'm being completely honest, and she looks to you, Ollie, I don't know why the pontiff got involved, but nevertheless, the higher ups are involved, and she just kind of like gestures her arms outward. Here we are.
May I insight her while all of this is happening?
Same.
Absolutely, please
Thank
do.
you, because,
Please do.
I would think that would be pretty, like, openly
24.
known who the executor of a very, like, divisive trust would be. Nat 20
Natural
for 24.
20.
Hey, 24
Oh,
day.
yeah.
So, you get the sense that her attitude is a little condescending, actually. It's not even necessarily that she doesn't know and that she wouldn't know that information. You don't really get the sense of that from her tone or from her body language. If anything, it's that she's passively making a judgment call on the decisions of involvement. And she seems to disagree with that.
Finn will point back the way that they came. Well, we started down here. We first noticed that there was a bit of a non-natural ooze or slime of some kind. Bright green, didn't mix with the water well. It ate metal. We had a little issue with it. I have a sample of it on my coat if you want it.
And she kind of looks at you I can talk. Inquisitively. And when you ask about the sample, she kind of like nods and opens her arm, waving you on like please, yes, please.
Finn will just take out the one of his daggers and just kind of like just start cutting a little bit of his coat off, just like.
Oh, it slides. The ooze just slides.
Oh,
like
well, damn.
it has found some metal and it is.
All right. Well, I guess my coat is saved. Finn will just like present the coat in and just like, are they providing something for him to dump it in, or?
She, realizing I didn't mention this, she has her hands are gloved. She has black, very fine black gloves on, and she kind of makes a face like squinching up her nose a little bit. She reaches into her bag on her waist, pulling out her own glass vial with a bamboo cork, and she just like carefully like holds it at the ready.
And he's gonna like hold his coat up, just be like, okay, easy there, as in it's just gonna like try to take the little bugger off.
Yeah, and it takes a minute, but you both collectively manage to get it in, and she pops the cork in, just. Okay.
Yeah, looks like it emerged out of some glass container of sorts and went to town on some of the piping back there.
That's she looks visibly concerned at that. That's not something we want to hear. How did we miss? Gosh.
He points to the footsteps on the ground that we've been following.
Excellent. Oh, the city is to be happy if there's damage to the pipage.
Actually, I just thought of this. The shape of the footprints that the puddles are in, are they humanoid or something else?
Ooh. Good on you. You take a second glance at them. They're slightly larger. than the average, shall we say, humanoid.
Can I roll? Knowing the various races that are in Ravnica as a whole, is there anything I can
It's
roll?
not.
Oh.
It's not. I will just give this to you. You can already tell it's not locked up. So
Oh.
immediately you're like, okay, that's out of the way.
Yeah, and Finn just looks down, points at the footprints, and it looks like one of our perpetrators is a Luxodon.
No, not.
not Luxodon,
It's
sorry.
not. Yes,
Sorry.
sorry.
The mic.
As in, it's
That's
smaller than a Loxodon's foot.
Gotcha. Ignore that.
You're good. Glad I caught it because I was like, no, wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that'd be the
but-
second easiest next to Centaur.
Which I was gonna say, you would
Good
know. And
title.
Pile is so helpful in this regard because you've been leaving behind wet trails as well, and there aren't enough footprints for it to be a centaur. Couldn't be. They're not. There's multiple cloppy feet within quick succession. There's just not enough here for centaur to make sense.
I guess that brings up a question. Like, what are the actual foot shaped? Like, are they hoof shaped?
Well,
Because that
it's
would mean that they're
it's hard
something
to
that's. Sorry, go ahead.
tell. You're good. It's just hard to tell because the footprints are puddles of water, so they're not perfect, right?
Okay.
So they're various different sizes because water is water. But again, what I can tell you definitively is that they're not large enough to be Loxodon, and they're not enough of them to be a centaur. So you can immediately just toss that out of the way. Chances are.
I was just gonna say, I would also say, because it's not touched on much in the source material, but I also know this race is also a thing. It's probably not the equivalent of the lizard folk in this universe, which is the Viashino.
Correct. The other thing I was going to note is that based on shape and size, it's not a, shall we say, smaller species either. So it couldn't possibly be goblin.
And yeah, Finn will just relay all that information of what it could or could not be to Miss Keeve.
It's really interesting. And you were able to tell all of that just from puddles of water?
Finn just slowly glances up at her and just does the shrug. I get around a lot. I talk to a lot of people. I see a lot of things. Just some stuff happens.
She's going to insight you. Roll me persuasion or deception, your choice.
25 deception.
She kind of eyes you up and down. She has a look of disbelief, then kind of clicks her tongue. Very well. A keeper of secrets. I see it. I respect it.
Finn just gives her a wry smile. I just do a lot of good work. And he will try to reach out for a cigar, but then realizing where they're at and the smell of sulfur from earlier, quickly rectifies that decision and just says, I'll hold off. Now the question is, as he points towards the rubble, what's on the other side of that? The vault?
Not necessarily. I don't know too much about the sewers. You'll have to forgive me. One to spend a lot of time down here. I've only been down here. They apparently only wanted to trust select individuals with the details of this mission. And she once again looks over to Ollie. My guess is that this is leading into a direction away from the Great House of Trade. After all, she points back towards, actually, unironically, towards where she came from. The House of Trade's way back there. Not too far off, but far enough that, you would have to take a different route, if you will, to getting to this exact spot. You'd have to be in the sewers, or you would have to, I'm assuming, enter from the point.
So this was their escape route.
She kind of shrugs. This is where we lost track of them. I couldn't tell you if this is exactly their escape, but this is where we, and she gestures to her, a handout kind of in direction, but not exactly. We were unable to detect them. We were unable to keep track of them.
While this is happening, could you humor me with something that we haven't actually talked about, but I want to see if we can maybe try something?
Sure.
So, the spirit companion I have with me is the Vizier, who I imagine is one of my random, ancestors who was particularly good at advising people to courses of action. I would like to try to, just while she's engaged with Finnegan, try to, whisper to my spirit companion, what do we know about the Kiev family?
Roll me a stealth check.
Oh, this will be great. 11.
11. Okay. Your Zir looks to you.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily know whether or not they are of the highest of stature. They definitely didn't make anything towards the Bedford family, but I can tell you one thing. I can tell you that their rise to fame has only been in more recent decades, more recent years. They were a band of nobodies until all of a sudden this group of golden-eyed, blonde-haired folks with a weird modern style, and then you see the Vizier kind of looking like if a ghost could squint its eyes at this woman, decided to bust in here and decided that they would forcibly take a seat at our table, so to speak. They're a bit controversial, but differently from the Bedford family.
Ollie will take that in and mark under. He's got a Venn diagram of not the insider, maybe, and he's just placing her in the center in his head.
Oh man, an old man criticizing the way the new kids dress. He is from old money.
Listen,
Kids these days.
listen, okay? I have a very old family. At least he wasn't racist. The weirdest thing was blonde hair and golden eyed. He's like, okay, stay in your lane, but
Also, why everybody is doing this is it alright if Pyle does some investigation rolls to just kind of
Absolutely.
She has no idea what these people are fucking talking about. She's here to find a mission. She's here to do shit and look around. So she's just gonna do that.
Absolutely.
Come on, sweetie.
I will booyah in the chat. Damn boomer ghosts.
So explain to me what you say that you want to do a little bit more. Can you tell me a little bit more about what your goals are?
I'm sorry, Cyrus, you're cutting in and out, dear.
No. We were doing so well.
Sorry, friend.
No, it's fine. I had asked if you could describe a little bit more now, what you say you're investigating, but what does that look like? What are you doing? What are you looking for?
She's basically what Pyle is doing as well. Everybody's having talkie times. She's investigating the claw marks in the ground. She's turning over stones. She's checking out the scorch marks. She's just basically kind of hunting and tracking for anything that's really any more out of place or just something that they haven't already seen.
Cool. And because you are the right height, here's what I will tell you.
Ooh.
First and foremost, there is damage to the structure of the platform, meaning that from wherever the position of the explosion was, it did actually if we want to call it its epicenter, it was probably actually physically on the floor. Because there seems to be like a little, like as you're pushing away, you see like this little indentation or almost not quite crater. It's not that smooth, but like you see an area where there's a ton of crackage and breakage in the rock and in the stone on the floor amongst all this rubble.
Okay, so it's be like an impact point.
Yeah, an impact point. Thank you.
Mhm.
The other thing that you notice is you notice something in particular as well, which is that, well, first off, there's some water starting to pool in that impact area, which is not a good sign. The other thing that you notice is that as you kind of look over the platform to the water area below, kind of where that similarly to the tunnel that you all entered in, it's kind of more shallow than the deepest part of the water. And you notice, interestingly enough, not only more rubble down there, meaning that there was rock flown down there, but you notice the what I can only describe as like like small eddies in the water.
Mhm.
And you notice it's hard to see, but it seems like there's a little bit of film, like something floating at the top of the water that's pooling, like that's starting to like accumulate.
Like
in those
oil
eddies.
slick on water, basically.
Yeah, kind of. But it's starting. There's not a lot of it, but there's just enough that it's starting to accumulate in those little eddies.
While everybody's talking, I don't know if anybody looks at her, they'll see her kind of turn in place as she lifts. If she'll lift a hoof and lower her upper half down a little bit, and then she'll put it down, do a small turn, and just kind of follow this path of, I guess, destruction to the eddy. And whoever's paying attention will probably hear her go, And she'll probably gesture gently at Victor, who's familiar down here.
What have you found?
Well, since the humans are having a discussion, there's an impact point here. I think she'll point over where the little spider webbing happened. I think whatever they used exploded there. Sent something in here, she'll point at the water. Is the film, there's she'll point it out. There are chemicals in the water?
Nothing that should make this kind of reaction. From what we have seen here and above, the implication someone from the Eastern League is pretty obvious.
And that's when she'll kind of lift her head and kind of hold up her hand very, very gently, like with her finger up, go, hello, and she'll raise her hand like she wants to ask a question.
By all means, did you see something? Did you find something?
She'll kind of give this woman a sort of a, I'm not sure if I trust you squint, and she'll go, yeah, there's an impact point over here, and she'll gently push up on the brow of her bandana. There's looks like something gathering in these eddies. And she'll point at Victor. He says it's not natural. So maybe it's something? And she'll point down to where the film is sort of just swirling in place. I don't much have nothing in the way of a vial, so I can't,
It's also like an 8-foot down climb to get to the water, so you wouldn't be able to just like reach an arm in there. Sorry, I didn't specify that.
No, you're fine.
But with the light, I mean, the way that light reflects off of oil or that kind of film is going to reflect differently than just water. So even if, like, hypothetically Finnegan were to hold the lantern over, which I'm not going to speak for Finnegan, but like hypothetically, if you were, you'd still be able to see a very visible difference just from the way that the light hits it differently.
Finn will oblige of what Pyle had mentioned. We'll just bring the lantern over, just to, like, provide a bit more view.
Yeah, and she'll just point down to where it is. That look like something y'all know about? Kind of looks like the water after we treat swords.
I'm doing a thinking. That's above game.
I will say, Pyle, making the comment, I know you were just being in character, but now that you think about it, the comment about what the water looks like after you clean the swords, yeah, that's not far off, actually.
Finnegan is doing to think. Pyle kind of mimics him unintentionally. It really, golly, it sure does look like the oil that we cleaned off of swords in the water. Looks real dirty like. Can't reach down there to grab none of it though.
While people are looking at the investigating the explosion site, Victor will look at the rubble and see if he can like move stuff to open the path if it is not like too like firmly blocked.
Roll me an athletics check.
It would be my pleasure. Here we go. Come on. And that's a 17.
Yeah. I mean, you aren't able to get all of it, unfortunately, but there's a good chunk of it that you are able to either move off to the side or to clear like enough of a path for people, including yourself, to squeeze through. It's definitely doable. It's a bit of a squeeze, but it's definitely doable.
While he's doing that, Ollie would keeping his attention both between the party and Svetlana. He would just go, Madam Kiev, I'm a little curious. Something like this should be no problem for someone of your position who could easily have this path cleared by thralls. Why haven't you?
Well, first off, like I mentioned, we wanted to keep this under wrap. I don't know if you're... No offense. I don't know if you're too familiar, but people tend to talk. People who work in collaboration tend to talk. And when people talk, information gets... And we really don't want the average Orzhov individual finding out that there's been a breach in the vaults. I can probably assume that you would gather exactly what kind of socioeconomic and political damage that could do to the entire syndicate if that sort of news were to get out, especially if they were able to get into something as minuscule but as significant as 5. But respectfully, I am not currently in a position where I authorize thralls. See, the problem therein lies in the fact that even I am working under the authority of Pontiff Sinwell. And, of course, with that being noted, whatever he says goes. And she has, like, this very, like, sneering smile when she says that. That look of, like... I mean, you can hear it in her. She's just not... She's not thrilled. She has a lot of thought.
Yeah, very well. Well, I'm surprised he didn't authorize it, considering his position as pontiff is looking rather shaky at the moment.
She kind of gives you a look, and she kind of eyes you up and down. She's gonna...
Ollie is not going to hide that, He has one card to play, and he is prepared to play it because he really does not like Simwell.
She kind of smirks at that, actually. There's like a flicker of excitement in her eyes as she reads that from, but she doesn't comment on it.
Well, either way, once our good friend here finishes clearing the path, we are going to investigate further. We already know that at least 3 of the items stolen are within a different district already. So we are looking to find out which district.
That's an interesting thought. Unfortunately, like I said, now that you're here and I've been able to investigate and sort of clean things up, I suppose. That may not be the right word, but it's the only one coming to mind. I wish you the best of luck, and of course you'll find me over the Great House of Trades, although you would have to ask for me very specifically. And I'll give you this. If you really want to speak to me directly, either to share more information, just to keep, because I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
Just, no. Tell them that you want to see the sundial.
Just to
And
clarify, because you cut out a little bit there, you said sundial?
Correct.
Okay.
And she just kind of gives you all a nod, like, as if, like, thanking you for everything, and she turns and begins to walk from whence she came, and you hear the clopping of her high-heeled, now that you realize high-heeled.
As she's walking away, Finn will just give a respectful bow. It was a pleasure speaking with you, madam. Have a lovely day.
You as well.
Kyle
Victor
just
has not been addressed the entire conversation. He just ignores everyone and is like taking the debris away.
Pyle just comments to Victor, she gonna break her ankle with those things.
Those are not good for walking here.
She'll look down at her own. She'll look down at their respective feet. They need to get some good shoes on them.
Listen.
Human women are silly.
Listen. half of the entire fashion of my guild is revolved around looking superior to other people. If you master the look, you can do anything.
On that, Finnegan will immediately look down and see what kind of shoes Ollie is wearing.
Ollie is, as you know, not high in the guild, so he can't afford very good stuff. He is basically wearing what I would assume, if you know anything about the Orzhov, the equivalent of a salaryman's outfit. He also, Citra gave me pointy elf shoes.
Ollie is wearing Abercrombie and Fitch, while the rest of the guild is wearing Gucci.
No.
And
he's at least Men's Warehouse. Give me some credit.
yeah, but now they're dirty, and you're definitely going to need it a little bit more than a prestidigitation mantra to clean them.
Finnegan will just
I like
take
the
note
chat.
that he is not wearing like high-heeled shoes either, and just like give him a silent like, all right. With that, Finn will try to help out Victor in clearing the way to get through.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you are actually able, now that Victor is done, you are actually able to.
Lost you there.
No!
You said actually able, and then it stopped.
To fit through that tunnel space, to like squeeze through and walk down it.
Finn holds up the lantern. All right, I'll go first, just so we can get some light. And he will proceed through.
Are you sure?
Look, if I go down, then at least you can avenge me.
Fair enough.
And he'll poke his head through just to see, like, is it a drop? Is there a place where he can get his feet in?
Oh, it's not a drop, fortunately. Because this kind of it seems that this from where this is, there is a drop down, sure, that goes into the water. But from here, it actually looks like the bridged paths and the platforms actually extend into this tunnel. So you are able to, once you move past the debris, you are actually able to continue up on the platform that you're.
All right, beautiful. Then Finn will just proceed on. Looks clear so far.
Pyle will make sure that Ollie goes ahead of her since he can't see.
Yep, Ollie will walk through it. He looks very pensive, like he's thinking about stuff. Because we were just given a whole lot more information, and guild context is also a big thing in Ravnica. So he'll head on through following after Fen.
And the four of you continue down for some way until you find yourself, interestingly enough, out in, well, it certainly is the open. You find bright light reaches you. Well, not really bright. Brighter than what it has been now, I should say. It is light. It is Undercity light, but it is light. And you find yourselves emerging at the end of the platform, outside of the cell, with a set of stairs headed downward, and to your right, over your shoulder, you notice that there is almost as if a waterfall. You notice a spout or like a grate where the end of a pipe is, and you watch as all of that water cascades the ground below you. And Victor, you in particular notice as you look forward into where the pooling water surrounds the ground and where the stairs lead to a pathway on the ground, you notice thick, very tall walls of thorn and a branch. And you have found yourself to the entrance of the underground maze. And that is where I'm going to end tonight's session.
Hey.
Oh, great time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Also, just gotta say, the art for Svetlana, chef's kiss, moi.
Yeah, no, you did yourself. That looks fantastic.
I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting her to look at Ollie and just go, ew.
I fully expected her to call at least one of us a plebeian.
Yeah.
Or a peasant.
Ew, dirty.
She wasn't exactly doing it with her words, but with her eyes, yes.
Well,
absolutely.
let's be honest here. The fact that I'm here is probably what she was like, oh, that's why she did not call me something mean. It's because, oh, they actually let him in here. That's a development.
She literally, the first she said was like, oh, they really did send you down.
Yep.
To be
Implication.
Fair, what you can also say about her is that, well, they send you down. You are not that high up either. Which, like, not verbalized, but the one thing that immediately, like, screamed in Victor's head is like, you are here alone. But that says two things. One, like, yeah, you're not that high on the totem pole. Two, they are confident on you to handle yourself.
Well, like
I'm on the wrong character to be like, yeah, you're down here too, bitch.
Well, no. Ollie would have immediately been like, no, because Ollie recognizes that this is basically someone who is sent down here because they alone could handle some shit if shit happened, but they also can't refuse their boss.
I'm just gonna address, like Tabuya says, she's Karen, but damn it if she's not pretty. I have to say more of a Becky.
But yeah, no, that was great. So I guess it's time for us to start going around the horn. So how about we start with you, Citric?
Well, hi, I am Citric. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Citric King. I draw stuff sometimes. besides that, I am here on Fridays playing Victor, as you have seen today, and playing Midas on Thursdays for Pack Tactics. That is pretty much all that I have on my end. So, Manda, why don't you talk about yourself?
Must I? Hello, I'm Mandaloo. I played Pyle. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Mandaloo. Not really streaming at the moment because I am busy. You can find me here every Friday. You can find me over at Trash King Arisen's channel every Saturday and every other Wednesday, or the straight out of Capella and Bearers of the Torch My Hero Academia campaigns that happen on those channels. You can find me also tomorrow or on Sunday on Nero Napier's channel, or The Nightmares We Undo. And yeah, Zacho, go.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Blue Sky as Zako Duo _ may vary. Tomorrow we may be trying to stream something. Probably like a Dragon Ishin. Maybe Tiger Dojo. We shall see. Sunday will not for anything happening on my channel, but just for general my associated circle. I'll be one of the DMs for season 2 of the Maelstrom campaign, where it's a whole play-by-post D&D campaign where I'll be serving as one of the 4 or 5 DMs. I'll have a whole region to myself, so we'll be officially opening the doors on that. We might try something Monday. We shall see. I do have plans for stuff here in September, since it's September now here on Twitch. Yeah, that's about it for me. Football pass to Sarah. Man, did you already go?
Yeah,
Yep.
Citric, did you go?
yeah.
Yep.
There.
There you go.
Get there eventually. Hi, I am on Twitter and Tumblr at TXDXL and on Instagram at TixDixel. You can also find me here Fridays being a DM. And I will pass the proverbial football to our host.
Hey, we're now no longer using a potato. There we go. It took us 3 weeks, Citric, but we did it.
We threw it away. Was about to start talking.
Listen, you
getting
dropped
worried.
it in the sewer water.
Ew.
Yes.
It's a football, it'll float. Just,
Well, I mean, you say that. Watch the potato somehow make it back to Pack Tactics when we start again. But that being said,
Wow.
you've
fucking
already
potato floats
Yeah.
by. Hey.
you've already
Where'd
found
that come from? It smells
Yeah.
like a sewer.
You've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at BurnoutVaughn. And yeah, we talked about a bunch. We've got our in-character playthrough of RE2 Make Wizard Sips Plays on Monday. We've got hopefully more Pack Tactics on Thursday. The next episode of Districtly Professional Friday. And then tomorrow we have Saved by the Spell, and then next week we will have more No Love War Extra. That's everything I do. I need to use the bathroom, so now it's time for us to find somebody to raid.
I see Sean's doing Among Us. The Unexpectables is doing their art channel thingy. Tart's playing 2K. Bracky's also doing Among Us.
Yeah, I see Tabby has 4 people. Yeah, Sick Tart has 6.
Oh, I see. I know who we're gonna raid because they only have one.
Oh.
Oh,
Oomst.
We're gonna raid our good friend and DM for tomorrow, JFrost747. How about our raid message is simply just the potatoes in the sewer.
Good.
Fair enough.
All right, we want to thank you all for coming out, and we will see you again next week where we are in a maze. I'm sure we won't all find a way to get lost. Thank you. We love you. Bye-bye.
goodbye.
Take care.